Hey there, folks. Welcome to the Whitfield Report. I am your aforementioned host, Sam Whitfield, broadcasting here live. It's Saturday night for another edition of the Whitfield Report, and we're doing this real impromptu, no intro or anything. I am joined by the Versa Media crew. And I want to thank everyone for joining me here tonight. Contact info as usual. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at somebody underscore NDC. Hashtag Whitfield Report. You can follow me on Gab and Parler at Sam Whitfield. Facebook.com/Whitfield Report. TheSamWhitfield.com for all your podcast needs, and also you can listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts. In the chat so far, we have Owen Benjamin sucks Vox Day off. That that of course he does, sir. And we have OJ's White Bronco, who I think OJ has jettisoned from the ROTC camp to come hang out with us now. So yep. And then we have Red Corona. God damn, why do you keep showing up in the chat, coronavirus? We don't want you. Nobody wants you. Go away.
Go back to China.
Go back to China. Uh Speaking of, we have some breaking news. First off, I'm joined by the Versamedia crew, which is Dictator Phil, who's having audio issues.
I am.
Oh, now we can hear you.
Are you? You can. You,
I am. I'm just fucking with you. I can totally hear you.
Phil, we are gonna kick you out of the stream now.
Okay, so just to explain to folks, I was trying to set this stream up, and Dictator Phil was the first one I called, but for some reason he couldn't hear my audio. So like I was disconnecting microphones and whatnot.
The first call I couldn't hear you on, like I couldn't hear you like the way that I have my audio set up.
Mm-hmm.
It's when I turned on, I guess the Skype must have automatically updated or whatever. So then I guess it reset the settings, and because I have an audio interface panel that I have, it automatically went, like the headphone jack automatically went to the audio interface when I normally plug it into just a straight computer. So yeah. So once I changed that, then you called back and it was all good.
Okay, we won't kick you out then.
Very cool. Then we should be having the third co-host, Alex, on the stream as well. But he's
Hello.
Oh, there he is.
Hey.
We got the gang.
We're all here.
It's all here.
So all four of us are here. Gentlemen, how is your quarantine going? Are you guys ready to blow your brains out yet, like I am, or?
Yes. It's getting to me.
Yeah,
it's getting to a bunch of people too.
And don't worry, YouTube. That's called dark humor. I'm not actually going to kill myself, so you don't need.
Now Susan Wojcicki's already on the march.
Yeah, careful with that. You kill yourself now, they'll blame that on the coronavirus and we're stuck in here for another 6 weeks.
Yeah, they'll blame Trump for that shit, like they're doing everything else.
You know,
I have two. I was gonna say it's the coronavirus death count. I think there was a sort of a dispute over that. Actually, like there were some people that were saying that you shouldn't be counting certain people if they had coronavirus and died because it might be some other thing. But we all pretty much know what it actually was, that was killing people. But so I don't know if those death counts are honestly accurate.
well,
Yeah, like probable cause, like probable deaths, like not 100% determined to be coronavirus, and
Yeah.
it's kind of this like self-feeding like system.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Well, what's weird to me is the fact that like I know of some people now. I don't know if this is like 100% accurate, but I know a guy who I met at one of the political conventions a few years ago. I'm friends with him on Facebook, and he told me that one of his neighbors recently passed away, but that this neighbor had terminal lung cancer, which sucks, in general. But this guy, I guess, had it for a while, and he just passed away. But I guess for whatever reason, like the hospital that he passed away at wanted to code, or classify his death as like a COVID related incident, and his family was like, no. He had like terminal lung cancer. It wasn't COVID. So again, I'm getting that from someone who knows the family, but still, like that makes me wonder how many of these deaths are actually like coronavirus related, or if these deaths are otherwise, related to other health issues, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
There's a perverse incentive with this right now where if you're a hospital and you say that you had this many coronavirus deaths, because of some of the federal laws that were passed, giving more funding to coronavirus, this incentivizes hospitals to mark everything as a coronavirus death that they could possibly do, so they receive additional funding for it.
Yeah.
They're twisting the they're definitely twisting the numbers. Like if you're like if there's a patient that has AIDS from Brazilian she-male butt sex, and then he happens to get the coronavirus, he's probably they're gonna be like, oh, he died of the coronavirus. Like, no, really? Come on.
So in other words, they're going to classify Owen Benjamin's death as coronavirus.
Probably. Highly likely.
But
Speaking of these sort of people, I heard you got to ask our boy Gavin McGinnis a question. So you actually got on his show for a few minutes. How was that?
Yes. Yes, I got to ask Gavin a question, and yeah, it did. It never goes well. Well, I won't say it never. It went well for me one time when I was on his show, but the other two times he just likes to roast me for no apparent reason. even though I've been supporting him and his Canadian Scottish LARPing ass for a couple of years now.
Oh, now you're roasting him.
Yeah, so where's the lore for this? Where does this all start?
So I'm part of it. I'm part of his Discord, which has pissed a couple other communities off. They think that I'm like they think I'm in with Gavin, which I mean I'm not really. I don't work for censored TV yet. Although we'll get to me being We'll get to me being censored here in a bit because I practically am for all purposes now. But so I'm part of the Gavin Discord, and for the past couple of weeks he's done like AMA Collins in the voice chat. So I called in and I was like explaining to him how a bunch of YouTube channels have started to get hidden from the comments or from subscriber feeds, and how like a bunch of my feeds have a bunch of my subscribers have been, some of them have been unsubscribed completely. And I said,
let me guess, did he say something along the lines of "Hurry up, I don't care"?
No, he was and he was like, yeah, I've no, he was actually like agreeable, and then like, yeah, it's really it's harder for smaller channels, too, and he's like, well, how many subs do you have? And I'm like 600
Uh,
630. He's like, why am I? And then he goes, why am I even talking to you? You're a nobody. You're a nobody. So,
yeah, because I
um,
was listening actually just a few hours before I was watching and listening in the background to
it
his Discord AMA that he uploaded on YouTube,
it was.
and he was just roasting everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I like him for that, and then, I mean, in all seriousness, I don't think he like seriously meant it. I think he was just
No,
jo-
he's a
joking.
straight-faced joker.
But yeah, OJ's what Bronco goes in the chat. Sam subscribers burn crosses in the yard. No,
No, no, he's not a federal agent.
no, OJ. I'm not a fed. Only one of my subscribers burned a Bible. So
Jesus Christ. That was the funny thing I was actually watching last night late at night when I should have been going to sleep. Was Alex Jones bullhorning the KKK in Waco, Texas. Yeah, I mean that's a crazy like trifecta right there. Alex Jones, KKK, and Waco all in one package. And he was like, "You're all." He's like, "Which one of you is a federal agent?" And they were like trying to do this like rally thing on I think some sort of government building steps. He's like, "You're all feds. Which one of you's a federal agent?" "Oh, I know which one it is. It's you. You're a fed." And he just would keep going on and on. It was one of the funniest, like most underrated moments.
Hey, the federal agents left in the 90s after they killed those kids in the at the little Christian commune.
yeah,
Sure, they did.
I mean, this whole thing is weird though because like regarding the YouTube censorship, like I'm not in anybody's sub feed anymore. The only, in fact, like I've had to set up bots in a couple different discords I'm in just so that people know that I'm live now.
Hmm.
Because otherwise, like I said, I'm not in the sub feed. I mean, you guys probably aren't doing much better. I don't ever see any videos in my feed anymore.
Really, we stream
Well,
every night or so at this time.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, to be fair, though, we've been having some, I don't know, ever since we've kind of got, like, lost our fucking access to
The
to the
radio.
actual radio. I feel like it's been tough right now because there's really not much news that it's in coronavirus related, and they've admitted to censoring coronavirus.
yeah. Well, I know that, and that's the whole thing. Is like I talked about coronavirus like back in February, and I said, hey, listen, I don't think it'll be that big of a deal because Ebola turned out to be a big nothing burger. Same with swine flu. Like
Hmm.
I wasn't even like saying it's like I wasn't doing like the guys it's a fake virus or anything like that. I was just saying, look, I think I don't think we'll be in quarantine. And then once that hit, I was like, boy, are we wrong? But then that video I guess got labeled as like fake news, and ever since then I've kind of been hidden, which is weird because like half the time I don't even talk at like political stuff on the show. I'll just talk like pop culture stuff or comic books or just BS with friends like you guys. So
Hmm.
um
Yeah, I mean, our channels, but some of our streams gotten some good views. I mean, I need to share some Twitter still. I'm multitasking right now, but I will do that, and that usually bumps us up. But what we've been doing now, and I'm doing it right now, is we've been sort of streaming while playing Minecraft or something to kind of have some more visual element to it and give us something to do. Cool thing is, though, and you can check this out on our streams or if anybody's watching on Sam's channel, they can check it out on the Versa Media channel. Is we are helping build Penn State campus in Minecraft. I shit you not. Like a lot of the campus is already built. All the dorms are built for the most part. Well, actually, no, the North dorms aren't. No, actually, no, they're working on those too. So most of the dorms are built. Some of the big buildings are built. I've been actually helping out. It's pretty cool. and it's impressive. Like, it's genuinely impressive. I was showing my girlfriend the whole thing last night, and she was like blown away. Like, it's really well done. They've even been doing the interiors too, so check that out, especially if you're a Penn State student. And we got some media coverage over it too, so it's fabulous.
He's totally stealing credit from the Asian kids at Penn State. we built the Asian. We built the Eisenhower auditorium yesterday.
Some coronavirus reparations from the Chinese.
Speaking of
Sorry for giving you coronavirus. Here's Eisenhower auditorium in Minecraft.
Speaking of Asians, this might be a bad time to bring this up, but Kim Jong Un, or however the fuck you pronounce his name, is
he dead? Is he dead?
I can see it.
I
mean,
personally
I
think he's
care about
alive.
that
I think he's alive. This is fake news from CNN or something, or TMZ.
Wouldn't it be funny? Well, wouldn't it be funny if we were like, oh yeah, let's see. All right, fuckers, let's see proof of life. All right, I don't believe a word you guys say, and then to do it, they bring out Kim Jong Un, but it's like Weekend at Bernie's or some shit. Like he's actually dead, but they're flinging his arms up like he's alive. Look, he moving his arms. He's alive. And it's just like, okay, that's an old '80s joke. Okay, anybody that hasn't seen Weekend at Bernie.
You're talking to a '90s kid who grew up watching '80s stuff. So,
they got the marionette. They got the North Korean army freaking marionetting his body. And
well,
they got some. They're gonna play some. They'll play some recording. Look,
Yeah.
see, he's alive. Look, he's moving around.
It's like what the Democrats are doing with Joe Biden
yes,
and RBG.
I was just going to say that. I mean, who isn't dying at this point? I mean, we have Kim Jong Un, and Joe Biden's alive, but I think his campaign is dead because he can't remember anything, literally.
Yeah, I think he has some form of dementia, honestly. I'm a little bit concerned about him because I know, Phil, you know more about this than me, but he does exhibit some classical signs of some form of mental decline related to age.
There's a legit cognitive decline when you see him talk, and there's like these things like that he would normally remember. You could just see it in his speech. There's things that we all forget things from time to time, but the stuff that he forgets, not only does he forget stuff, but he mixes words too. It's he's showing these early signs of dementia, and it's only a matter of time before he starts, I don't know, shitting himself. And well, he's kind of doing that now anyway, just not actual physical shit. But.
He's already sexually harassing people too.
Yeah, let's talk about the Me Too shit.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that?
Yeah, with the whole.
No, I haven't seen it because the mainstream media hasn't fucking played shit.
Yeah, they keep blaming Trump for telling people to inject fucking Clorox bleach and stuff.
Which he never said.
Yeah, and I don't get that. Yeah, I've read the article. I've listened to what he said. Nowhere does it say, hey, you should go and drink bleach.
Yeah.
And if you honestly think that he is saying that, maybe.
That's a you problem.
Yeah, and then they're blaming Trump for this. I'm like, the media is the people making these clickbait articles that are completely false.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, someone who did drink bleach should go and sue CNN, because it's not Trump who said it. It's them for misinterpreting. Well, not even
because CNN and MSNBC aren't even playing the press conferences, right? So technically, look, they should sue CNN and MSNBC. Well, look, we didn't get the information. We didn't get the appropriate information. So therefore, how could we make a educated and informed decision?
Oh yeah, I mean the funny thing with the Biden Me Too stuff is that it's kind of cropped up recently again because of the mother of one of the, I guess you could say it's now an accuser. She called into Larry King's show years ago, and they dug up a clip where she said some stuff. I'm gonna look it up in a second, but that's been making the rounds, and even like the hashtag dropout Biden or something along those lines, or Joe dropout, I forget what it was trending on Twitter number 5 today. So it's picking up some steam, and it is something else to talk about other than coronavirus. I think I said in the Discord. And Dropout Biden. Yes, Dropout Biden was trending on Twitter, and I think some on the left are a little concerned, but I don't think he will actually drop out. I still think he's gonna make it to the end, and Kamala Harris will be his VP. But she'll be really who people are actually voting for, I think.
And for those who are watching on my channel, OJ's White Bronco wants me to give myself a haircut on stream, so...
Oh, he did it!
What was that?
I am trying to do that, but I can't... I'm gonna give myself a little bit of a trim up, but I can't cut my own hair, like, literally, because I'm not a chick. So.
It's easier for a guy to cut their own hair, honestly. Just fucking cut it off. Your buzz cut.
Oh yeah. Then that'll really help me with then I'll get labeled as like a fucking griper or something for sure. So.
Well, no, they do their hair more like gay guys do, honestly. Like,
Especially with the
more
fashy
haircuts, like outside like a drag show than when I see some of these Quakers on there.
You mean if they're like fashy haircuts as a left?
These like real gay fashy haircuts. Like, you claim that you want to like support the right race, but you look like you're me supporting a cock in your ass, you know?
So that's the thing about these people, and even Gavin was saying this on his Discord AMAs. These ultra trad people, and it's always the case, they're always massive hypocrites. They're like, oh, we wanted to preserve the white race. Oh, we want to, get a wife and all this jazz. And I don't see them dating. I don't see them with anyone. Some of them, I do know one person. I know who you're thinking of. But many of them aren't really doing practicing what they preach. I mean, Lauren Southern did do it, but we all know what her past is. And if we really need to go into that, that's a fun one.
Yeah, no, it was funny. It made me think of those two people my girlfriend played. I don't know if it was like Fallout Boy or something, but there was something about like someone's like, oh, the groom's wife is a whore or whatever. I'm like,
I know what you mean.
I laughed at that.
Yeah, they told Lauren Southern to blow the house down, and she completely did a different thing.
Yeah, she took it a bit too literally.
Not that way, okay? Don't do it like that. No, it's not what we meant.
Wait,
she took it a bit too literally.
Wait, Lauren Southern gave someone a blowjob at her wedding or something?
No, she kind of allegedly did some ghostwriting that involved sex for favors, allegedly.
To put it bluntly, she allegedly slept around with every person in the right-wing movement and had them write her shit for her.
Well, shit, where was I when she needed ghost writers?
Oh man, did you even see? I posted, I think, in our Discord. Did you see that she had a wedding recently?
I did, and
you saw her big belly and her kid.
And you were like, Sam, I hate to break it to you, but I'm like, nah, Millie Weaver is still single, so that's okay. So
yeah, I thought I thought you said Lauren Southern was your wife at some point.
I mean, at one point, Tommy Lahren was my waifu before she became really cringe. So
yeah, I know what you mean. It's like the thing is, like with Lauren Southern was clearly an attractive woman. She was young, but she kept preaching all this trad shit, and she obviously wasn't so trad. And she, right after Milo released, right before Milo released that, or was it before or after? I feel right around Milo released that article, she quote unquote retired, left the movement, left everything after making this massive, pinnacle of her career documentary. Did no promotion, nothing for it, just released it and that's it. And that shit came out about her video producers being slimy, backstabbing pieces of crap. And then she also has a wedding shortly after. I wonder if she left for two reasons. It was number one, the bad shit of keeping the video producers around that were doxing people. And I also wonder if she acts. I wonder how intentional that pregnancy was. I wonder if there was a oopsie, and so she's like, "Oh boy, gotta settle down now."
Yeah, I don't know. But she seems like the type that she'd like claim to be against abortion, but I don't know if push came to shove.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know some of these people.
I know what you mean. And it's I don't know if we'll talk about on this show, but we've dealt with some pretty treacherous people recently, and dude, some of these people in these movements can be fake as shit.
And
it's like,
you can bring up anything on my show. I don't care.
Here's my sort of issue. It's like, Democrats, super liberals, like progressive folks like that, they suck. But the only thing worse than that is the people on the right who actively, fucking break every rule in the book and smear other people on the right.
Well, yeah. I mean, look. I hate to bring this up, but like I've had personal experience with that. Like with Owen Benjamin and his crew. I mean, like, people I knew were framed of like trying to poison his kids with fake gummies. Like, and it's silly and ridiculous and absurd, but like that shit actually happened at one point. Like, I've gotten into more fights with like these quote unquote right wing types than I have Democrats. Actually, it's weird.
Well, because for me, I've stopped arguing, except like at protests or somebody major or something when a Democrat like once again to an argument. Like, I've just stopped doing it because it's a waste of time. But if somebody really comes after me or smears me, like, then I'll start, tussling. Or if it's at a protest at one of our events, it's like, ooh, this is going to be fun. But other than that, it's just a waste of time. But then you have people, like, when you're trying to build a team, build a coalition, and actually do something, make some progress, do something productive, and do something effective. That's when you really quickly separate your friends from your enemies, and your friends from your true friends. Like, especially like when elections happen during for clubs, these people's true colors start coming out. And I'll keep it vague for now, unless you guys want to dive into more on this.
Fucking blow it up. This piece of shit needs to be blown up, like, metaphorically.
Feel free to. I mean, only it's not going to go viral. This stream isn't.
No, please make this dude go viral, because what this piece of shit did was literally the scum of the earth sort of shit.
Well, then by all means, please let me have.
Like, we know. We know somebody who is in the Penn State college Republicans who lied to a veteran's face and everybody else's face to get power in the club. This person told, there's a lot of lore to this, a lot of context, but basically, a Army Ranger decorated veteran was running for the CR presidency last school year. When I mean last, I don't mean the current one we're in right now. I mean like actually last. And he was running for it, and he paid to run for something. You need to be an active member. To be an active member, you need to attend 4 meetings, pay dues. Well, he did that. They said the current board at the time, which he was on but not as president, they told him, oh, you didn't pay dues. So he paid them again. and they said, "Oh, you didn't pay your dues." It was just such bullshit, and we're gonna pay it again. Like election day came around, we're like, all right, we'll do it again. He'll count as an active member. He's been to enough meetings. Like, he can fucking run, right? They still said, no, he can't do that. They did deliberately to, as Phil would say, railroad him to prevent him from running because they know he would win. And more context, our college Republicans is run by a bunch of cucks, a bunch of establishment elitist cucks who didn't want to endorse Trump in 2016 and pretty much prevent it from happening. Was run by a registered Democrat at the time. We literally have his voter registration. Like, somebody showed it to us. Like, it's fucking like legitimate. He was a registered Democrat at the time. But the new administration during last year prevented a decorated veteran, we're going to call him Captain America, from running. And so this other guy said, because he was popular among people and he knew he would win, because the person that Captain America was running against basically had to drop out due to a whole bunch of other reasons. And this was also, while this was happening, dues money was getting lost, not just Captain America's, but other people's was getting lost. There were no receipts, nothing. They then, this other person said, like, all right, I'll run, and maybe I'll keep the presidency, maybe I'll give it to you. We were trying to make him sign a pledge saying he would step down the following year, and then Captain America could run again. But he didn't sign that pledge, which immediately was raising my eyebrows, but I was like, okay, maybe he just doesn't feel comfortable with it. I don't know. Could be a lot of reasons why I wouldn't want to do that. But he said, okay, maybe I'll give you the presidency next year. I'll step down, or maybe I'll just help you out and give you another position if that's what you want. Like, we'll help you out. Like, basically, the reassurance was, I'm gonna help you out. This person totally lied, did nothing for Captain America the following year. In fact, he has some corruption near the end of his term this year. He initially didn't want to count me as an active member for complicated reasons. That was the implication I was getting, in my opinion. But he also instructed his treasurer to break university policies and reimburse his buddies, his establishment cuck buddies, CPAC expenses without going through the university bank, basically. That's what it's called, university bank. It's called ASA. It's basically like the club's bank account under the university where you put money in, and you have to reimburse them through that. He didn't want to do that. He was instructing his treasurer to just count them, I think it was as donation money or something. He wanted to do some weird thing. I don't have the details in front of me right now, but he wanted to do a real weird thing where he didn't want to reimburse them properly, which totally breaks the rules. He didn't want to use ASA. He just wanted to totally circumvent it, which is unbelievably corrupt. One of the more corrupt things ever. When I saw that, I was like, holy shit, this is pretty bad. And so the treasurer put all this out there in a group meet, telling people, like, hey, this is what's fucking happening. This is crazy shit. Like, I'm not going to do this. As your treasurer, I'm not going to break university policy. And so he backtracked that, thankfully. But recently, I mean, this is a lot of context. I'm sorry, but there's a lot to explain here. During the elections, a fake Republican was running. This person, you just had to do a few Google searches. He even told us the first bit, which was that he interned for local Democratic campaigns twice.
Oh, he was proud of it.
He was so proud. He's like, oh, I was just trying to understand the other side. I'm like, bull fucking shit. You don't work and help the other side to understand them. You can watch CNN. You can talk to people. But working with them, helping them, putting your time and energy in for them is not fucking just understanding the other side. And he admitted this. It was like the first thing he told me in our conversations. I'm like, what the fuck is this dude? I do some Google searches. He attended climate change protests at Penn State, spoke at them. He liked multiple tweets by Pete Buttigieg and Students for Pete, and even tweeted hashtag Students for Pete. And the mother of all loads that I found was when I went to his blog, his pretentious little blog, and I found an article where he talked about how he joined in chants at our TPUSA event, hosting Sargon of Akkad and Hunter Avalon. He bragged about joining in chants with the protesters. This dude is a total phony, fake piece of crap. Like, oh my god, my anger's starting to boil. And I was so angry that people were believing his bullshit and that he was getting away with this. I'm like, oh, here we go again. Another fucking we've seen this story before. It's happening again. And so I questioned him about it. He gave me bullshit answers. He's like, oh, as a journalist, I was just I like to people watch, and this was just a dramatic opening. I'm like, bullshit, dude. You're the shittiest journalist, most biased journalist in the world that would be perfect for CNN. I bet they're on their knees. They'd want to hire you. Or you're lying to me, and you actually did attend these protests. We have them on video. Like, people that filmed the protests, they have them on video there. Like, he was clearly there with them. So I'm mad at this. I call him out for this, like during the elections. And the reason I called him out was because he deleted this blog post. This blog post had been on his website, and I already archived it. I'm not stupid. I know people delete shit. You know, then I archived it, saved it, so I'd have it for reference. And he deleted it right before the elections. I'm like, rather suspicious, isn't it? And so I call him out for it at the election. I ask him about it because I am the president of Turning Point USA Penn State. This was our event. We put work into this shit, and you came and protested, and you're calling yourself a Republican, a conservative that believes in free speech bullshit. You don't. You don't give a shit. You're a total fake. And so I asked him about it, and I told everybody what I thought about him. Honestly, I'm not going to hide my feelings. I'm going to be honest with people. And so I told him, I said, look, this guy, he's a rhino at the minimum. I don't know what else he is, but like, this dude's full of shit, is what I basically said. And then after the elections, and I mentioned his Pete Buttigieg tweet likes and all that shit, his Twitter is privated. That's interesting. The article's back up, and I'm banned on I'm blocked on Facebook. He blocked me on Facebook. I'm like, oh, he doesn't like me. And I'm like, okay, I must have hit a nerve here. I must have found something. And so the fact that his article came back up after the election raised some eyebrows. So I mentioned it in the group me. I was like, hey, why is it reposted now? I just asked a question. I wasn't being a dick. I wasn't even being really trolly or anything. I just asked him, like, dude, why is this back up now? And he gave me this long, like, wishy-washy academic answer. It made no fucking sense. And then the president of CRs got triggered by this. He got triggered by me questioning a clearly fake Republican that even he was saying was fake, and did some pretty, I'll say, aggressive things.
Now, was this just for the CR president of Penn State, or was this like a national thing going on?
No, this is just for Penn State.
This is just for Penn State, but a lot of people know about the shit that goes down here. Like,
it's so bad that it's so bad that the PA State College Republicans didn't want a fucking thing to do with them.
Yeah. Yeah, and then so after this, I know I'm getting near the end. Trust me, it's long, but there's a lot of context that needs to be laid out. So the president of the CRs at Penn State got triggered by me asking a simple question and started texting me saying, oh, you're not going to be like Phil here and just like starting drama. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I thought you agreed with me on this. I thought we're on the same side, that this dude's a fake. Like, I know what you did. You actively tried to pull an endorsement from this dude. Like, I know you don't like him. Like, let's be real. And it's once I said I was trying to hold the cucks, rhinos, and fake Republicans accountable is when his true colors started to show. He tried to associate me with Nazis, alt-right Nazis, and tried to smear me, which he knows me better, or at least he should. I told him, like, dude, they hate me and I hate them. And he started bringing up Captain America into this. Our Army veteran dude tried to run. And he started saying, well, he had some... He said that he tried to associate him with those people, too, the alt-right Nazis. And I said, like, dude, do you think he's a Nazi, too? And he's like, well, he did have some questionable beliefs. I'm like, what fucking questionable beliefs? He's like, well, his foreign policy stance, like, weren't a fan. I'm like, dude, like, cut the shit here. Like, what is this? Like, I was going back and forth with him. And then I mentioned at one point, like, about the deal he made with him, like that he would help him out. And then he said, and this is where it gets spooky, is he like a fucking movie villain, like a Disney villain. He goes, "Oh, you thought that was real?" He's like, "Wait, did you think all that was real?" And I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" And he goes, quote, "So and so's my roommate. So and so is one of my closest friends. Did you really think I wanted Captain America? Come on, Sean. I thought you were smarter than that." And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like reading this. I was on with Alex and Phil here. I'm like, I couldn't believe what I was reading. And I was like, I need to clarify this for certain. I'm like, so let me get this straight. You lied to my face and Captain America's face when you said you'd help him. And he goes, 100%. Gotcha.
Wow.
I'm like, why did you do all this to us? And he goes, pretty simple, Sean. I wanted the Nazis out of the club. You were fine with putting a guy that welcomed them with open arms in the presidency. So I took it. I took it, is what he said. And I said, you lied and screwed over a combat veteran, over a handful of people that nobody liked and would leave the club anyway. You know the Nazis forced Captain America out of BMP when he was keeping the club normal and fighting Nazis, right? And he goes, yeah, I know that, but they liked him and he tolerated them. Couldn't have that. His veteran stats had nothing to do with it, Sean. And it just went on from there a little bit. Like, I couldn't believe this dude. He's like revealing like his master plan. Like, it's the end of the movie and you got the hero and the villain are like cornered and the villain's like, ooh, here's my master plan. Ooh, I conned you all along. Ah. You know? It's just going off on this like, ooh, I got you. I thought you were smarter. It's like, what do you fucking think you are? Like this grin on his face, like a Cheshire grin. And, you know, he goes off. And I finally told him, I was like, dude, and then he started invoking God, which pissed me the fuck off. I hate when people use religion like that. He started invoking God. And then at one point he said, I won, Sean. He just goes, I won. And I finally gave him like a final few blurbs of what I was feeling. I was honest with him. I was like, dude, like, what you've done is totally disgusting. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen at Penn State. Like, this is awful. And I told him, like, dude, you can't keep living your life backstabbing good, honest veterans like that. Like, this dude is a good person, and you're just going to be miserable. Like, I was being straight up with him. I'm telling him, warning him, and he ends it with, good advice, Sean. Thank you so much. It's all over. Time to move on.
Nope,
Thanks for everything.
It's not over yet, buddy.
Bitch, this shit is never over. I've talked enough, so you guys can go off on this dude. He really angers me. Like, I was so angry, upset, and cheated reading that live. Like, I was so upset, so angry that he would screw over a veteran like that for power. Like, it's making me upset now. Like, it's one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Well, all I will say is that Owen Benjamin sucks Vox off in the chat. It says the paranormal state guy went to Penn State.
Oh, I saw him once.
Wait, who is this?
The paranormal state guy. That guy was in that ghost hunting club for like a week.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was stupid.
Red Corona wants to know, is the guy wearing Superman fake Republican underpants?
No, Superman was good.
Captain America
was good, but the the president who just left is a piece of shit douchebag who screws over veterans and lies to people's face. He has no integrity, no character, and I hope to God he never works with veterans.
Yeah.
Because what he did was unforgivable. You know, the other presidents, they pissed me off. They've contributed to allowing this piece of shit to even, be associated with the college Republicans. But, as much as I hate, some of the previous presidents and really dislike them, I truly despise this guy. And after what he said to Sean, I will do whatever I can in my power to make sure that he does not get into a position where he can go and harm veterans like that again. Not even just veterans, like regular people, because he's a swindler. He is a liar. He cannot be trusted. He has no integrity. He has no character. He will lie to your face. And Captain America even told me, or he told us, that, he looked at, the previous president, and he couldn't, like, the previous president couldn't even look him straight in the eyes because he knew he was full of shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here's the thing is, like, we all gave him the benefit of the doubt for the most part because he seemed like he'd be different from the past administrations and the past presidents. He said he'd support Trump. He was saying, oh, there's going to be dues receipts. There's going to be no more corruption, all these things. We're going to help Rob, yada, yada. He told us every fucking little thing we wanted to hear, and it was all a fucking lie. And he lied to me for literally, and everyone, and veterans, for an entire school year. It's literally been like a year since the last election. And it was a total lie. And he's like, oh, I thought you knew the whole time. I thought you were smart. Like, fuck you. Like, oh. And that last condescending thing he said to me, like, good advice, Sean. Thank you. It's like, well, fuck you too. I mean, I can't. If there's one thing, I always try to be with people's honest. I mean, I sometimes, it can be hard when I don't want to say something mean to somebody, but I want to be honest. I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. But at the end of the day, I push for honesty. Always. And if there's nothing that I hate more than fake, phony pieces of crap like this, I just hate fakeness. Fakeness is just one of the worst qualities. Like I could never marry somebody that's fake. I could never befriend somebody that's fake. I just hate it. I hate it so much.
Well, fake boobs are okay.
Yeah.
Well, you see, like,
call,
it's one thing
call.
if you lie about, like, something stupid to, like, a single person, but, like, when your entire legitimacy based, like, the whole reason you're there is based off of a lie and deceit and some of these actions which, are just plain, probably fraudulent. Like, if some of these things played out the way they are, like, honestly, some of this could be investigated by university officials, and I pray to God they do against this piece of shit.
And it's one thing, like, if he did this to just any normal Joe, like, it'd be bad. But he did to a veteran who has seen shit, who has, had bullets whirling past his head. I mean, the things, I can't even imagine the things Captain America has done for our country and for his ass to be comfortable and high and mighty.
Well,
and he just he screws him over, lies to him, betrays him over a college club.
Well, I mean, he was frozen in ice for close to 70 years too, so I'm sorry, I just had to make that joke.
We're using nicknames here because that was a nickname we've been running with for every time we mention him, because I don't know if he wants his identity revealed. But
I hated how they were like. I hated how he was like, well, weren't you smart enough to see past all that? Like, no, it has nothing to do with intelligence. Like, people trust
compassion.
You. Yeah, people trust you, and then you sell it off like it's some kind of evil master plan or something. Like no, you're a fake piece of shit. Like, I don't like. That's what you thought you were intelligent because you railroaded somebody, like you openly lied to someone's fate. No.
And then he even downplayed his own club. He downplayed the College Republicans, said, oh, it's just a club of 30, some odd college kids in the middle of Pennsylvania. He talked shit on the own club he was the president of.
Yeah.
Like, compare that to how Sean acted as president of Turning Point, and you'll see a world of different. And that's something too. Like, take that into account. His club, it was the place when I went there. It was like really the only club for conservatives at Penn State. And now it has gone to the point where it's a third-rate club where, seemingly new organizations like Turning Point are able to completely eclipse it in terms of events, in terms of, interactions with people. Yeah, that says a lot.
Dude, CRs didn't have a single fucking event this year other than a few debates with the college Dems. And those were fucking like nothing. They were boring, lame, stupid, and pointless and ineffective. I mean, if you're going to have a debate, let's have a fucking proper debate. And they couldn't do that. They had no great debate. They had no 9/11 run. Turning Point had to partner with a new one done by Captain America to actually do something for veterans because CRs couldn't step up to the plate. And when I say need to, I don't mean that in like, or had to. I don't mean that in like it was like a chore, but it was like an obligation. The fact that they were dropping the ball upset me and many other people, and so we're like, okay, well, we want to do charity work. It's a great opportunity to get started on it. Yes, they kind of did thon, but they always do thons. Like that's not much work. They just pick people to dance and they show up, and really
I think they made a lot less money too this year. Like when I was there, I think they made like $20,000 of donations, and now what was it, like $3,000, $2,000?
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah, like they just dropped the ball on everything. The only thing they do is parties, and they don't even like do it themselves. They need like team up.
Even
with
those
other
have
people.
scary stories coming out of them.
Oh yeah, that's true too. They have their own set of controversies in there because when you have like a lack of integrity, like from at the head, you're gonna have a lack of integrity throughout. It's cancerous. It spreads.
Mm-hmm.
When you see something at the very top, it's already gone terminal. So when some of these alleged events and alleged behaviors took place at these parties, I'm not surprised in the slightest. Because they, just the lack of integrity at the top, that enables that behavior.
Okay, Sam, let me ask you a question here.
Yeah.
If you pay me dues, right? Say you want to be a member of my organization. You pay due, so you pay due money with the intent of being a member, right? And then so you do everything else, you attend meetings or whatever. And then at the end of the semester, I say you're not a member. It's like, well, are you kidding me? I paid dues. I did everything, right? And it's like, well, no, you're not a member. You can't vote for any officers or whatever. Did I not steal your fucking money, basically?
Yeah, that's pretty much, that's pretty much what is going on.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of these college Republican type organizations, and even Turning Point on a national level. I mean, you guys are awesome, but as far as like a lot of these organizations on a national level, and I know that you guys can't necessarily say everything. There seems to be a lot of disorganization at the top for a lot of these organizations. It seems like so.
Well, these guys are late. I mean, these guys that were up at Penn State, these guys were lazy pieces of shit too. When you're like, we know what the situation is. Like conservatives are getting shit on campuses daily, right? Well, they're getting attacked left and right. And when you have when you have a group that's supposed to be like defending these guys, and they're just like, well, let's not stoop to their level, or let's not, they give you these non-confrontational answers or whatever. It's like, no, you guys are lazy pussies. No, you should be defending these people, right? These ones that are getting shit on, especially with the 2020 election coming, right? There are people that want to be, around other conservatives, that want to be around other people like them, but like they see what's going on and they're like, well, fuck no, I don't want to be part of this shit. Like, it pisses me off to the core, and I mean, it's disheartening because it's like, holy God, the 2020 election is right around the corner, and like we have no legitimacy in the main conservative organization. Well, it's not exactly the main conservative organization anymore, but what's supposed to be the main conservative organization is like this group of pussies that can't do shit or won't do shit.
Well, what's weird to to me, just kind of in general, not just with CR, not just with Turning Point USA, but with like but with all these groups now, especially this year, we're in a really weird time because, I mean, like I said, coronavirus has unfortunately shut everything down, and so like, there haven't been really any campaign drives, any campaigning of any sort.
There's been a lot of phone banking. The Trump
Yeah.
campaign's been doing a lot of phone banking.
Look, I've done phone banking for Yale before, but let me tell you, the only people who answer phone banking calls are people in their, and I'm not even saying this to be mean, but people who are in their mid to late
Old people.
70s, yeah,
Yeah.
80s and beyond, and
Well, they're so important voters, though, especially
Oh
for
yeah.
Republicans.
well, they're important voters, but that demographic is, I'm not even saying this to be funny, but that demographic is dying off, now in waves because of COVID. I mean, like I said, this whole thing is this. My fear, kind of, with COVID is that we're going to be indoors maybe for the rest of the year.
Mm.
Like, that is one thing that kind of concerns me is, like, not to change topics too much, but what do you guys think of Fauci and, how this COVID thing has been handled? I mean,
Well, with him, you have a medical sort of viewpoint on this, and he doesn't give a shit about the economics because that's not his job. Like, he'll give you the medical advice on that. I think he's done a fairly decent job at that,
Yeah.
but that's not the only advice that you're going to need. Like, the economy is also incredibly important because for every 1% jump in unemployment, there's like thousands of people who are killing themselves because they lost their job. So, I mean, and that's just one aspect of it. Like, how many people are going to be starving because of all this? How much inflation is going to happen? Like, it's important to have medical advisors, but honestly, even in medical crisis, they're not the only people you need to surround yourself with.
the last time I watched a Trump press conference with him, I got super pissed off because he said something along the lines of, well, we can't reopen until we have no new deaths from coronavirus. And I'm just like, what? Like, how? That's impossible. That's never gonna happen.
Well, that's the medical sort of background.
Yeah.
Like, that's why you can't listen to one person solely.
Well,
That's why Trump, he has to kind of be in between the medical and the economical advisors and, all these, like the employment advisors, everything else. So that's why you have multiple advisors. Because, like, military advisors going to tell you, hey, we need to go to war with this country over here. But then you have, like, a diplomatic advisor who says, hey, that's probably a dumb idea. So you need to kind of weigh the pros and cons.
that is
Yeah.
that is
Different times.
that is a good point, but even so, I feel like even for a medical guy, that's a bit extreme because, I mean, that's like me saying, Sean, you can't come out of your bedroom until no one dies of just the regular flu. It's not gonna happen. You're gonna be.
Well, here's the thing. Like Alex said, I think it again important to reemphasize that Trump has a businessman's mind. Fauci has a scientist's mind, so they're going to be looking at these things differently. Like a good example is hydroxychloroquine. Trump's like, hey, let's try it. It has benefits. The benefits outweigh the costs. Let's try it. Whereas Fauci's like, no, we do all these studies and shit like that. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense, but I get where you're coming from. It does make sense, but it's just a difference of a different way of looking at things. Now with the reopening, I don't know how long ago you listened to that, but they're sort of constantly evolving on when and how we're going to reopen. So I wouldn't put too much concern over that, but I'm more concerned about Fauci's previous statements and things. Before this was really blowing up in America, he said that, oh, this is nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other things. Like, he sounded like he was, and he's really, I don't get I wonder how he really feels about the WHO, World Health Organization. I mean, I do question. I wonder if I wouldn't be surprised if we come out of this when it's all said and done. I mean, not only will the World Health Organization's reputation be shattered, I mean, it already kind of is. We're probably going to pull out of that, but I wouldn't be surprised if Fauci is not as highly regarded as we enter this crisis. I think like all the Time Person of the Year is going to be all the doctors and people on the front lines, but
which is stupid, but
I mean,
well, I think that's actually good. I mean, I think they're the people more deserving of an award like that than Fauci. Because Fauci, look, I don't doubt for a second all the amazing accomplishments he's had, but I am a little concerned about some of the recent things he said. He's a little confusing at times and unclear. I think the last press conference was actually fantastic. It was to the point, quick, speedy. And I did miss the media bashing for a bit, but maybe they need a little break from it to piss them off just a tiny bit. But, dude, Trump has just been killing at those pressers, like going after the media. He's been making power moves every week, it seems like. An issue has been going like every day. But, man, he was giving media the shit they deserve, and it was beautiful.
yeah.
I think we need to get back to work. I mean, we've been told... we've been told to, do the quarantine thing. We've done the quarantine thing. It looks like we flattened the curve. Like a lot.
No, we have not. No, we
haven't. We have not.
We're not even close.
It's going to get worse.
Well, I saw a really interesting article, I think, today about, like a lot of the issues we're getting is from New York City, like New York proper.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and there was an article, and like maybe we should just like find those super hotbed areas and just quarantine the shit out of them. And then the other places have a more relaxed approach.
I was saying just build a wall around New York anyway. Like I was saying that even before all the fucking coronavirus shit. Now that they're all poisoned with this fucking coronavirus, just speed up the process. Just build that fucking wall.
So Phil, to make another 80s reference, so you were literally wanting Escape from New York to become a reality.
Yeah.
Then.
Well, I mean, no, I don't want anyone escaping from New York. If you're sick with the coronavirus in New York, you're already dead. So don't be poisoning me.
Well, here's the thing: if you take New York out of the equation, we would have less deaths. Like you would be right around the same level of infection as Germany.
Phil Pliskin.
Yes, but the problem is, like, I'm looking on a map for my county right now. We initially, I know it's just one county, but it kind of is. This is a similar story in many other places. It was only for the longest time in March. It was like 1 case a day, 2, 3. Then near the end of March, it was hitting a lot. Now in April, we're getting 100 new cases every day. Yes, there's probably more testing. Yes, it's probably a bunch of other factors, but it is spreading more, I think. You would think at the same time.
See, is it really spreading more, or are we just getting more tests and more people are getting tested and more people actually realize that they have it versus not because there weren't any tests before?
I'm gonna clarify. I said I do think so, but, and here's the big but. The number of new cases is still going up. It's not slowing down. That's the case for a lot of other areas. So I think the best thing.
What about new? Like what's new? Like what's new versus already having it, and then like. And because there's multiple, and since they were saying that there was multiple strains of this fucking thing that we're never gonna like, you could have had it and not even known it. Like you could have had it and been completely asymptomatic.
Yeah.
Well,
like you could like nobody fucking honestly really knows.
The thing is, and this is where I think we still need to stay locked down like we are for at least another 2-3 weeks at the very least, because just this week did I finally see everyone in my grocery store wearing masks. Before it was like most people did. Now it's finally everyone's is masked up, and it's even mandated. Like going into my wallet, there was a sign that says, by Pennsylvania law, you have to wear a mask. It's going to need to be locked down like this for a little bit longer, and then I think what will happen is we can go back to work, go back to a bunch of things, but we still have to wear a mask. We still have to socially distance. I think that's what will start happening, but that curve needs to be flat more, needs to be going downward more. The White House's guidelines of the 3 phases is what needs to be followed. That is the smart way to deal with it.
The only problem I don't like with that shit is like, okay, so you're forcing me to wear a mask. Like, are you providing this mask? Where the fuck am I getting this?
We should be given a fucking mask, like a month's supply of mask for free.
And I don't care. I'm like, look, don't force me to do something and then not provide me the tools to fucking do it. That's so either provide me the tools or don't have the fucking law at all. That's what I'm saying.
I think we definitely need the law, and I think since
then we need to provide the masks. You can't do that.
Yeah, and I'm getting to that. Since the supply has gone way up and they're way more available, if for some reason you cannot get one, then I think there should be something where, like, if they, let's say a cop pulls you over and if you say I can't buy one, they say fine. But if you do have one and you're not wearing it,
then everybody can say that shit.
No, it shouldn't be that. If they gave us $1,200 for free, they could send us fucking masks for free.
No, they can't. It's not that simple. You need materials. You need materials. You need to manufacture it. You need to ship it.
If they can send $12,000 to us, they can get.
You can print money. You can't just print masks. Like, it's not that simple.
Well, like we had places that were open that were doing that. You can use that Defense whatever act if we have such a shortage of.
Yeah, and he had to.
I know. Then use that and then print out the masks for everyday people. Send to them in the mail.
Well,
if that can be done, that'd be nice.
It can be done. If they can send money in the mail, they can send masks.
Well, I think
or they can provide it at local areas, same places where you go to vote.
Also, the mandatory masking is not necessarily along the lines of like you can't walk outside with a mask. It's more of you can't go into, let's say, like, I don't want to say grocery store, but like somewhere where it's super crowded. And not have a mask or something. That's what I think needs to happen. It's like, yeah, you can still go out, but like you can't go to certain places without
one. They should provide the masks at those places, though, too.
I think they should, but again, that's easier said than done when we have a shortage.
If you can make a law that criminalizes you for not wearing a mask, then they need to give you a mask, basically.
I would prefer that. Again. It needs to be locked down. People need to stay inside for long because the problem is
they need to separate people into 2 categories. Are you at risk or are you an otherwise healthy person?
Yes, that too. But I think the other issue is people that don't think they have it. Once people are like angry, like, oh, we need to go back to work right now, and then then they go out there and they spread it, and it gets worse, and then we have to lock down again. Like, that's what I don't want to happen.
The people who are vulnerable, stay home, absolutely 100%, and they should be allowed to stay home until whatever it's determined to be safe. But the people who can work, they should be going back to work. So we're going to have a meat shortage soon because of this, and that's going to really start hitting people where it hurts. Yep. We're going to have supply shortages.
We already do.
I know, but not to the extent that's going to be, because I think there was one pork processing plant. You'll see more of these start to spread.
Yeah, but the problem here's where the problems come in with that. There was one, I think, locally near me. I remember my mother was telling me about it. Somebody had coronavirus at the plant, so they had to shut the whole thing down. It was like a meat plant. So you got to be very careful who you let back into those jobs, because then it might create a whole new, worse problem.
Well, you need to have, if we run out of meat plants, if all of them shut down, then we're going to have insane issues. I don't know. I'd rather just fucking roll the fucking dice with it at this point.
I can tell you this: I am not going fucking vegan. So
yeah, dude, fuck veganism. It's cancer.
So yeah.
What's wrong? You don't like your soy tofu? What's wrong?
You animal killer. You murderer.
I don't know, man.
What,
And
you
if you have,
got,
like, a
why
little
can't you
bit-
just enjoy a nice glass of almond milk?
Oh God, almond milk is like it's not bad actually. I did try. My girlfriend made me try it once. I'm like, yeah, it's not bad, but like
Almond
it's
milk.
so like you can only drink at least for me. Like after a few sips, I'm like I can't have anymore. It's just too much.
Almond milk's not bad. Soy milk is.
Well, it doesn't
Just-
taste like milk. It doesn't taste like milk to me, and that's the
Mm,
issue with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just my whole thing is like, look, there's only so long that we can stay indoors before people do legitimately start committing suicide or rioting.
You already started seeing protests, and I can't blame the
Already
people for
seen it.
protesting.
those protesters. I understand that. Yeah, I understand where they're coming from because people do need money, especially if you're living paycheck to paycheck, which you should never do. But if you're doing it, I understand the anxiety, and I also understand people getting a little crazy, a little annoyed being inside all the time. But when they're not socially distancing, when they're not wearing masks, even if they can, and when they were cheering people that were taking masks off, that is so stupid. It like makes me frustrated. Like these are Trump supporters too, and they're making us look bad.
Here's my issue with that. When did we as the people vote to allow these restrictions? We had no say in this. We were told from the top down. We went against the British people over
It's a pandemic.
a tariff on a tea.
Yeah, but it's a
If they saw
pandemic.
this shit that's been going on, they would be rioting too. They'd be taking their masks off. I guarantee it. Because you know
That's
what?
stupid.
During that time, they had the plague, they had smallpox, and we never saw anything like this.
No, have you heard look up the bubonic plague.
I know they had it at that time, and even then, like they had it in America.
Yeah, and they had way more deaths. Like,
But we still didn't. We didn't fucking deal with this level of stuff. We have the right to protest. That's in the First Amendment.
yes,
Yeah.
but they're endangering other people, and they're spreading the virus. Like
Well,
it
then
is.
the government should let people have a say in what measures they take.
Well, okay, but again,
But
this
they're
is
not doing it.
but we give the president emergency powers, and
It
he's
wasn't the president
exercising them.
doing this. It was the states.
Yeah, and I have no problem with it because it's an emergency, and you need to act quickly in this, or else more people are going to die, more people are going to get infected. All these protesters are protesting because they're healthy. When they get sick, or at least they think they're healthy, when they get sick, I don't want to hear a word from them about any of this. The protesters trigger me. I'm sorry. Like recently, they've triggered me.
Well, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to really determine what the next steps are because we don't have accurate statistics that justify one move or the next.
Well, I don't even think it's that hard because if we vaguely
You're right.
know,
It's not that hard. Well, I mean, I think it's more I think a lot of it is more manipulation than anything. There's a lot of moving parts that are manipulating these statistics for their own personal agendas versus determining what, like, calling the stats for what they are and then determining the next steps based on those statistics, because we don't know, like they're like with the death counts and stuff. It's like we were talking about that the other day. You have people that die of other illnesses but because they had the coronavirus, they're saying that they're dying of the coronavirus, but it's not accurate. It's not really an accurate death. It's not an accurate coronavirus death. And so you're like, and you get a lot of those because, like, when you look at these statistics, all the flu, the people that are dying from the flu and all these other things, they're actually going down because they're taking stats from those deaths and putting them in with the coronavirus. It's not real. These stats are not honest. They're not accurate. And we're basing all of these next steps, like, these draconian state measures, these freaking, you're printing out fucking money. You're doing all of this bullshit for, stats that aren't even honest. Like, we have to get it.
And
Well,
they've
and I
been
think
going
the other
back
thing,
on what they were telling us, because I remember a few weeks ago they said, "Oh, don't wear a mask; it's more dangerous." And now you're being required to wear a mask. So what the
well,
hell's going on over here with that?
well, to me, I totally understand that, and I think it's totally understandable. It's because they didn't want people to be, people that weren't sick going out buying a shit ton of masks as much as they were of toilet paper and stocking up on it and hoarding it. And then the people that were actually sick and infected, and the people that need the nurses and doctors that need masks couldn't get them. That's what they were concerned about. And I totally understand why they did that.
Here's my ultimate question, though: is where and when does this all end? Because at this rate, what I'm worried about is that they could theoretically keep us indoors indefinitely if they really wanted to because of this pandemic. I mean, we could.
Well, they won't. I think it's also going to depend state by state and area by area. Like New York's going to be the last to reopen.
Probably.
Well, unless they already burn out quick enough, they might do that too.
Well, I mean,
that's true.
Well, I mean, I do know that Florida is reopening the beaches on Monday, which I'm kind of glad about. But also, there is some misinformation there because while the beach,
it's only some beaches.
yeah, it's only some beaches. Like the beaches in my area where I'm at, kind of in the Tampa Bay area, like they're going to be open, but like you can't like lay anything out like beach towels or anything like that. You can't. You have to be like 6 feet apart from each other. You have to wear a mask. They don't really want anyone going like around the coastline or really into the water. So, I mean, it's like the beaches are open, but they might as well not be because.
Well, but I think that's pretty reasonable, and I think that's what you're going to see with a lot of other things. It's going to slowly going like that.
I do too. I just people are saying, "Oh my God, the beaches are being wide open," and no,
they're not. Yeah,
no, that's not the case. So,
well, here's my issue too: is in like PA, you can't go golfing, but you can go fishing. How does that make sense? And like the governor is picking and choosing what companies to allow open or not, and there's no sort of third party process that can determine without politically involvement. That sort of thing.
Is the weather warm enough for you guys to even go fishing in PA?
Yes, trout season open, and that was huge. Like they should have kept that closed if they're going to shut down golf, because I don't see how they can have one but not the other. They're pretty much both singular. It's not a very interactive task, and I don't really see a logical reason why golf is forbidden but fishing is allowed.
So
I'm not sure the reason, but one thing I will add to that is this is something Mark Cuban's talked about, and he's absolutely right on it, which is when we do start to reopen, this is going to be complicated, but probably what's going to happen is certain businesses are going to need certain guidelines. Restaurants are going to need different guidelines than a lot of other things because it involves food and the way people are interacting with each other. And there's a lot or even stores with clothes. Like what happens if somebody touches a shirt, doesn't want it, and puts it back? Like what do you do with that shirt? There's a lot of little details are going to need to be worked out because it can open up a lot of problems. That's why, as much as I want to reopen, I want to stay safe. I want to slow the spread, because if we rush into reopening things, it is going to go back up, and it's just going to be hard shutdown all over again. So, like when Trump says like reopening is going to be like the most important decision of his life, like I know exactly what he means, because that's a make or break thing. If he does it at the right time, things will be good.
Not even really Trump's decision, though. It's all a bunch of states.
The states. Yeah, and that's the smart thing he's doing, is leaving it up to the states. And that's a super smart thing because, for example, Wyoming has like hardly any cases, and they will be able to reopen sooner than other states. I think travel and immigration is going to be shut down for a long time, because that was the source of it. Mainly was travel, people coming in, bringing the virus, and that's going to need to be shut down for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's gonna be an interesting.
Look, we got to have these businesses opening up again. We got to have sports. We gotta have sports coming back. I mean, if Big Al the trucker doesn't get his Asian, he doesn't get his Asian massage, he's gonna burn his house down with his kids inside. All right,
Jesus
we gotta think
Christ.
about all of those things. Okay,
We need to think about our truckers. And I bet Cosmic Rebecca
open
is.
the goddamn massage parlor.
That's a good impression you're doing of your friend Big Al. But if you're still in contact with him, I mean, I know he's still got Twitter. I hope his DMs are open. But
Hey,
I would tell him to check in on Cosmic Rebecca. I hope she's doing okay.
Who are all these people? Have you been watching porn again, Sean?
Again? Did you say again?
I think Pornhub's free right now.
Wait, what? Shit. Whoa, wait. Can that's
Pornhub's always been free.
Well, no, but they had like the premium or whatever.
Shit, really?
Coronavirus.
Oh, okay. I know what we'll be doing after the stream, boys.
I watch porn purely for humor. I do.
At least you
swear
did.
to God. I swear to God. It's like
that's like saying I read the Playboys for the fucking articles.
Well, no.
He got you.
I actually do read Playboy for the articles and other things.
Bullshit. Okay, there you go.
Well,
now you're honest.
So here's one. Okay, I'm gonna give an example. I saw one where the Wonder Woman was being held down and forced to come because if she comes, she loses all of her power. So they had her table with a vibrator on her stuff, and like
it by monetization.
I'm laughing the entire time. I'm like,
I was gonna say
it's funny. Like I don't care. If you can't laugh at some shit like that, like you have no soul.
Well,
yeah, I can laugh at it, but I'm not gonna actively look it up.
I mean, I'm not looking it up. I'm looking at what's. I go on there and I see what's popular, and I'm like, and I look at the weird stuff, and it's like, and then sometimes you'll see like midgets, and I'm like laughing. If I see a midget fucking, I'm laughing my ass off. That shit is hilarious.
One of our regular listeners to the Whitfield Report, Shady J. I don't think she's here in the chat. And I do want to emphasize.
Shady J. It sounds like a porn star name.
Who knows? Oh shit! It all makes sense now. So,
it's funny you mention all this like porn talk because like when I opened up YouTube right now, I saw the most like risque ad I think I've ever seen on YouTube. Because I was checking the comments on the stream, I'm gonna post in the Discord, so Skype doesn't have to access my photos. I know I'm such a cuck, but I posted in the general chat on Discord. It's just like it's oddly like risque, like begging you, like, oh, check out my app.
Yeah, it's like those fucking Wish advertisements where they'll show you like a crack pipe and like a fucking dildo. Right now.
There's a site, Big Sausage Pizza. Hilarious, right?
What kind of pizzas can you order there?
Okay, so it's Big Sausage Pizza. So basically, it's this guy that like acts like a pizza delivery guy, right? So he's on the door, and this hot porn star opens up the door, like, oh my god, you got my pizza. Come inside, and I'll get the money to pay you. And then so there's like a hole in the bottom of the box. So he sticks his junk in the hole, and he's like, "Here, I got your big sausage pizza right here," and opens up the box, and it's like, "Oh my god!" And she proceeds to blow him and bang him or whatever. It's fucking hilarious, though. The whole thing. It's just the way that he opens the box. He opens it. He looks right at her and then opens the box and bam! It's like cheese pizza with his junk in the middle.
Watch your word, I got that one. I was gonna say, Sam. If you're wondering why your channel has been shadow banned, well, I think the answer has revealed itself.
No. So you want to know why my channel was shadow banned?
I think we already found out why.
I might have explained it, but it was simply because back in February or whenever, I simply said that I didn't think COVID was going to be that big of a deal. So
Shit! So it wasn't our fault.
so I said that in February, right before the before the thing happened. Then in March, I got like a notification that the stream I did was like labeled as like potentially having misinformation about COVID, right?
Oh my god!
Even though since then, like I haven't been showing up on any of his feeds, so like yeah, at this point, like I don't care if we like at this point, the stream is at least
Just start sharing porn on there and see how long your channel lasts.
Do it.
Well, at this point, I was joking with someone. At this point, all of us are being censored on YouTube so much that it would be funny almost to like go on to Pornhub and like start a Pornhub live stream and just do like a regular show and just like
Oh my
Do an
god!
unboxing.
Oh my god! I don't know
People
how
do
I'm
that
gonna pay
before.
for this pizza. I have an idea. Bow, bow, wow.
Trump bucks.
Just like a one weird channel do that before that had these like Jimmy Neutron like fucking videos, and they started playing on Pornhub, and they got banned for not being pornographic enough.
Wait, you
Like
can
I've seen
get
gun
banned.
channels do the same shit too, and then like you'll see the occasional like meme on there will be like a Bernie Sanders rally, and it was like two hot black bitches like fucking peg like old white man in the ass, and it was like the one where like the Black Lives Matter like hijacked them or whatever.
I love how you can get banned for not being pornographic enough. And I understand why it exists, so people aren't like advertising their own shit or something on there. But like, that's just funny.
Two black chicks rail old Jew. So
Yeah, it was something like that. And then I saw like that there was just like one gun streaming, like a couple gun streaming channels, fucking Forgotten Weapons started putting videos on there after YouTube like hit them up real bad. Like Bill Hitchcock 45 put them on Pornhub, and I think they got banned as well.
Oh my god.
he should have had naked chicks like firing the guns or something. So,
I wouldn't mind
I
that.
don't think that's a very smart idea.
Wait, what type of guns are we talking about?
I don't know, they had weird shit on Forgotten Weapons. They always had like fucking nutty things, but you're gonna get like a fucking hot brass on your ass. That's not be very fun.
I wonder how much the porn traffic has increased during the coronavirus. Like, if you can't beef your chick, you're like, hey, what am I gonna do? I'm a simple man.
yeah, and then some of us don't have chicks, but that.
Well, it's
Yeah.
probably like what a bunch of strippers have been doing, because I imagine those have been shut down in most places.
OnlyFans. So
All strippers have become cam girls now. They're all getting OnlyFans accounts. Like, oh, let's talk about that. You know about the iDub shit, Sam, right?
the thought audit.
No, the iDubs. Do you know who iDubs is?
I've heard the name, but what's
And it's okay. I mean, I really didn't even know much about him until recently. Like, I remember like I'd hear his name a few times, but he used to be this kind of like, I think you classify him as like edgy. Is what you told me, Alex, like a YouTuber that was kind of like a, I don't want to say a menemist, but like he definitely wasn't PC with how he talked about women and other things. And recently, people found out his girlfriend, who's way out of his league, has what's called an OnlyFans account. Do you know what OnlyFans is?
oh yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, it's a basically app or a service where you can post like anything
It's a
from
fucking Snapchat that's not on Snapchat.
yeah, it's basically a premium Snapchat that's on Snapchat. So you can post anything from just sexy photos of yourself to straight up porn. And his girlfriend apparently only posts the sexy photo types. But
That's not what
iDubs,
he said.
really? What'd he say?
He was like, "Oh, why do people care if my girlfriend's showing her naked body on these things?" I think he said that in one of those videos, and like Leafy was like trolling him.
Cool. Well, okay, we don't know the full extent of it then, but we'll have to. Somebody will have to investigate for us.
I'm paying for that shit. Fuck that.
I said somebody, not us. Listeners and viewers.
Listening to this shit.
I'm not paying for it. So
It's only, I don't know how much it is, but like, let's say it's only $10 a month. You know, it's Netflix or
it's like a RuneScape payment.
It's a RuneScape payment. But the funny thing is, he made a video defending the shit out of it. Like, this is probably how the term simp really blew up, was because of him, really.
People in the chat are shouting simp now.
Simp. Yeah, he's a fucking simp. Like, he transcends cock and becomes a simp. He puts pussy on a pedestal like you wouldn't believe. He defends the shit out of his girlfriend for having one. He's like, I don't care if she has one. And you know what? I'm cool with it. I think it's cool. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? If my girlfriend did that, I'd be pissed. And, you know, any decent girl, I would assume safely, would be beyond disgusted and, you know, annoyed if her man was okay with that. Like, that is total beta bitch behavior.
Beta.
And people are beta simp. And people are like, oh, well, why are you so upset about this? Like, and he was like that way too. I'm like, you can have standards for people in society, like, you know, expectations. Like, and they're like, oh, I don't care what he does. It's like, yeah, at the end of the day, like, I'm not gonna like go to his house and be like, you can't let your girlfriend do this. But it's like, you know, let's try to hold people to some sort of standards. Like, don't be a bitch, don't be a beta, don't be a cuck, and especially don't be a simp. I mean, just, you know, it's just disgusting behavior. It shouldn't be encouraged. It's really just like weak and pathetic. And to be okay with your girlfriend doing that is like really weird, to be honest. I mean, it's really just, you know,
it's disgusting. It's fucking degenerate. It needs to go. It shows like you really don't care about them, or you have no respect for your fucking self, where you'd even allow your girlfriend to do that without even like fucking breaking up with her.
Yeah, it shows you have no standards for her, no really value. Like, if you really valued her, you wouldn't be cool with that. But he's cool with it. Like, he's literally cool, and I'm using the term he used with it. And, you know, he's like, well, why shouldn't she? He basically is like, I'm totally cool if my girlfriend sells her body online to some incels and they jerk off to her. It's totally fine with me.
Yeah, and then people are defending this disgusting dude too.
Yeah, 12's just rainbows. The people that like defend him. I mean,
like high profile people too. Like, what was H3?
H3? Yeah. And his defense was, oh, it's not even porn. Like, oh, she's not even showing tits and ass. I'm like, dude, like, it's still bad. It's like, oh, he only killed. It's like the people that defend like these like these socialists and communists that defend these dictators. Like, oh, they only killed 2 million of their own people. Hitler killed 13 million. It's like, yeah, still they're both fucking bad, okay? You know?
So I got a story.
Oh boy.
I got a story.
All right.
Is this a war story?
All right,
Phil,
Phil.
who wants to hear the story?
Let's hear it.
I'll let you go first. I've got a
Okay.
pretty good one too.
All right.
Ooh, I love this.
So when I was still in the military,
Here we go.
one of the last places I was at was I was in Texas, and one of my friends was married to this chick, and we thought that they had a good, we thought they had a good marriage.
Aww.
We deployed, came back. It was like, oh, really nice. And then we find out.
I know where this story is going.
No, we find out that when we were deployed, his wife went to Miami and did a whole bunch of porn.
Oh, Jesus.
I knew something like that.
Yeah.
Fucking
You know how I figured it out? My roommate at the time is like a pornaholic. Like, he could tell you like porn actresses' names. He could tell you what scenes are like fashionable, what like he could tell you everything you want to know. Like when the AVN, like there's like a porn award, like AVN awards, he'll tell you when that's going on. Like he is a fan, like a fan of porn. I came home one day and we like the way that our barracks rooms were set. We had like twofers. We had 2 rooms, and then we had like a common area, whatever. And then so like in the common area, I had like a 70-inch screen TV.
Oh boy!
So I went in the room, and there was 70 inches of high definition pornography on my television. And then, so I was like, but it was normal for him. I was, well, he's watching porn, whatever. And then I see her face on the screen. What in the sandpaper fuck is that? Is that? Oh my God! And at that time, like, it's like, who is that? He's like, oh, that's and he obviously mentions her name. I'm like,
by heart.
And I'm like, oh my God, he's got to see this shit. And of course, my friend's like, oh yeah, he's totally got to see this shit. She's getting blacked right now. And I'm like, what? No, that's not what I meant. I'm like, his fucking wife is doing porn.
Oh my God, dude, that would be so like. It's one thing to be cheated on like while you're deployed, but like
that's worse.
Having her become a porn star and then like you discover it over there, like, God, dude, that would make.
So he was still on base at that time. When I got done, he was still on. The guy was still on, like, he was like a duty driver or whatever. So I was like, dude, you got to come over here. I want to show you something. I didn't tell him. I didn't tell him anything yet. And so he came in. I'm like, dude, you need a beer. You're gonna want
to sit down.
To this shit. And then he turns around, sees the TV. He's like, "Oh my God, what is that?" 'Cause he's like freaking out over the porn. And then the porn actress turns her head to the camera, and then he realizes. He locks eyes with the person on the television set, and then he realizes it's his wife taking it up the ass with some Mongo sized. You know what? And I'm like, and he was like, he looked like he saw a fucking ghost. He's like, I'm like, here's your beer, dude.
Yeah, I mean, get my own fucking divorce attorney with that. I'd love to see that go up in court too. It's like, so where's the evidence of the infidelity? And they just go play that on the fucking TV.
Yeah.
Go to www.
Well, which tape do you want me to play? There's like 40 of them.
She was in a movie called Assgasms Volume 7, okay? That's the evidence.
How many was she in?
No, she
like, was she hardcore? Was she like, really, like, was she making series? How deep into this was she?
Dude, I'd be asking for what's that shit alimony from her for that shit.
Here's the thing. When we left, and it was like it was about a year long. Like, so when we left, they had like credit card debt, and they were making car payments on like on some okay cars, but not great. When we got back, there was like she had money. She had a new car. She had a new. Like, she had when we left, she had a Toyota Corolla and they were making payments on it. When we got back, she had a fully paid Audi A8, right? Which is like it's like what, an $80,000 car or some shit.
It's fucking expensive. Yeah, it's one of the top line Audis.
Right. She had all these designer clothes that she never had before. She all of a sudden said, "Oh, she likes cocaine now," and like, oh, there's just all this shit. Like, it's just like crazy. Like, where the fuck did you get this money? Are you dealing? It's like, no, but I know a dealer if you want one. I'm like,
Oh,
Yeah, she was yelling at
Jesus.
fucking pornos.
yeah.
She's been making. Like, how did it go out for him? Like, did he end up like? Was there a messy divorce, or was that pretty much like? I mean,
Yeah, it was. It was because, like at first, like they first went and did marriage counseling, which how would
just like nope.
How the fuck do you counsel out of something like that? But I mean,
You don't.
at first he thought it was. He tried to play it off, like he really did try to play it off, like it was cool or whatever. I'm like, shit. Okay.
Was he pulling an eye dubs and he's like, "Oh, I'm cool with it. It's not that bad, bro."
He was.
When you have something like that happen, it's probably like a fucking bomb going off.
He was looking like honestly, I think he was looking at how much money that they were pulling in, because she was making a lot. Like she was getting I think she was getting like a couple grand a scene. I think she was getting $2-3 grand a scene, and at that point it was like, well, she was when she would go, she would either go to Florida or she would go to Los Angeles. And like she goes to Los Angeles, she's getting like $5 grand a scene, and then she'd be doing like 3-4 scenes a day or some shit. Like, so there was some serious money. But like, I mean, you just have to stare at your wife getting blacked every now and again, Hey, I don't know.
Well,
no pain, no gain, right?
No. He's the one getting alimony now. I hope so.
Well, how did that like turned out? Like, did he fucking get any? Like, did he lose a lot from that? Did he fucking get money from that divorce? Because it was kind of her fucking fault. Like, it should.
I think she just left. Like, she just left him and then signed like a no fault divorce or whatever. Like, basically saying what's yours is yours, what's mine is mine. Let's end this shit. Because I think she was trying. She was. I think she was having a relationship with one of the producers or whatever. In Los Angeles, and like. She thought that she hit the jackpot. He was like, yeah, whatever. And then
I'm gonna suit her ass for alimony. Fuck that. And I got to her for emotional distress as well for having that shit happen when you were on base. Oof.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, enough money where she probably could have hired some sort of ridiculous.
I mean, he was like, at this point, he like when you're working as much as we were at that time, he was just like, just get her the fuck out of here. I don't care. Because going through a divorce where something like that's in the cards takes a lot of time and legal fees, and just you're going to all of this bullshit. He was just like, look, whatever, do what the fuck you want to do, whatever.
Yeah.
You're making your money, I'm making mine. Let's just get this fucking shit done and over with. And she ended up getting knocked up and by one of the actors, and then that guy didn't want anything to do with her. And
I wonder why.
I mean, it is what it is. Like, I think she was. I think she was genuinely trying to bait him too. Like, I think she was trying to bait somebody. Like, because I don't know. It was like he was saying at one point, she was like, "Oh, I miss you. I want to come back." He's like, "No fucking
no, bitch.
No fucking way."
I've had that happen.
What?
No, I've had ex-girlfriends who have left me and then tried to.
I thought you meant you like.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, damn.
It's coming back to like, oof, that's pretty rare.
Like, how many people here know porn stars?
Oh no, I had one for my high school class.
Well, and interesting that you said that you asked that question though, Sean, because I not quite as bad, but I did once meet a playmate without even knowing
a playmate.
It. Without even
elaborate.
So the first the first year I was down here, like, okay, so I moved down here to Florida from Colorado at the end of 2013. So this is 2014, in February. One of my neighbors invited me to like a boat show slash Super Bowl thing out in Tampa, out in Tampa Bay. So we went. So he took me to this yacht club thing, and it was, you know, a couple of the other guys in the neighborhood were there, and it was cool and whatnot, so anyway, so I'm just mingling with people, and all of a sudden I see this like gorgeous blonde. I mean, she's just gorgeous. So my neighbor, who's like 40, well, he's in his 50s now, but he was like in his late 40s. Like he's like, hey, see that girl over there? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, he's like, I dare you to go talk to her.
Yes.
I'm like, okay. I'm like, and my neighbor Terry, he's like one of these guys that gets like a mischievous grin. So I'm like, okay, what's the catch? He's like, what? There's no catch. He's like, you're in Florida now. You've got to, you've got to talk to some Florida girls. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. So I go over. I start talking with her. We strike up a conversation, and at some point, we get into talking. I ask what she does, and she says, "Oh, I'm a model." And I'm like, "Oh," and I'm like, well, this is Florida and this is Tampa, so like, I'm not that surprised. I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. Any publications?" And she goes off, and then she says, "And I was also Playmate of the Month for January of last year." I'm like, wait. What? And like I'm like I must have been blushing like super hard, and she was sweet about it. So, and then
Should have asked you what Hugh Hefner's cock tastes like.
no,
Did Hugh have a casting couch? That's what you should have asked.
No, I did give her my card though, and then
Ooh.
and then she was not ready to give me her number before another neighbor came over and interrupted me and asked me if I wanted chewing tobacco. So
Got cock blocked by your neighbor.
yeah, but by my super redneck neighbor. So I go over to Terry, my army ranger buddy who's laughing his ass off at this point, and I tell him I'm like, Terry, you did not. I'm like, you knew she was a playmate, didn't you? And he goes, yeah, and I would have given you $50 if you would have actually gotten her number and asked her out. So
Fucking Chad right here almost had her number. Dude, I feel bad for you. Like, you should, like, when they offered you the chewing tobacco, you should be like, no, I want to chew on something else. Fuck off.
I don't know, man, but this is a playmate, dude. You don't know where that's been. It's like fucking taking a ride in like this fucking, like, it's like sleeping in a fucking Motel 6's bed. You don't know what sort of bugs you're going to pick up from it.
Well, as long as you wear a rubber, you should be fine.
No, you take that back, Sean.
Well, yeah, but don't they protect against like 99, except maybe like the ones in the hairs, right?
I might see if she's still around after the quarantine thing is over. Who knows? So,
you could break break that quarantine.
Yeah, it's Florida. Yeah, it's Florida. They don't follow that shit. Fuck social distancing my ass.
I always want to ask about that. Like, how much of it, like, is Florida Man real?
I think we all know the answer to that. So yes.
Florida Man is real, but the thing about Florida Man is it's not just one person. It's like it's.
Oh, I know. I've seen all the fucking headlines about Florida man.
Dictator Phil could be Dictator Phil is Florida man, but in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's
Florida
like
man
some
is
fucking
real.
meme. Like, it seems like every other day you have like some dude doing some sort of stupid bullshit in Florida.
But the
Florida
We are
man
all Florida
beats
man.
the squirrels to make like attack squirrels. Florida man, like he'll fuck tries to fuck an alligator. Florida man shits on passersby by hanging off of a fucking stoplight pole. It's like so much of this shit. Like, it's just like every day. It's like, what's Florida man gonna do next?
We are all Florida man. Oh my god, it's so funny. It's such a just crazy, like, weird part of America. Like, you wouldn't expect Florida, and then you hear the shit that comes out of there, and you're just like, oh my god.
well,
It's like Wild West.
well, and here's the thing is like when I first moved here, I'm like, okay, these Florida man stories, like, they have to.
They can't be real.
Yeah, I'm like thinking, okay, this is a meme that just started online and just got out of control, right? But like the really, I knew that this was real my folks, for like the first year we were here, they got the local newspaper for free for a year. So, like, we never re-up, but I would read it. One of the stories I read that, like, was like, holy crap, Florida man is real, was Florida man Florida man gets arrested for running through airport naked with nunchucks and assaulting TSA officers. So,
That sounds about right.
I'm like reading this and I'm like no, I'm like no way, this is the Onion, and then like I read and I'm like, holy crap, it is true. So. Yeah.
So, like, why are people so nutty over there? I heard that it was because, like, most of the drug rehab places were in Florida. But I don't know if that's just a meme or if that's part of it, or if there's, like, some secret, like, genetic defect.
Dude, I've been here for 7 years, for like 6 or 7 years now. I don't. This is how I know I'm still like a foreigner. I don't, like, I guess I've been here long enough. I could say I'm from Florida, but like I'm not of Florida, if that makes sense. So,
There's a lot of great trailer park meth out there.
so
One doesn't just become a Florida man. It is a deep.
It's an acquired taste.
Yeah, it's like herpes. You had to get it from.
also, if inquiring minds want to know, her name is Sean Dillon. So.
Ooh. So if I
got her name, oh, there you go.
So her name was Sean.
Yeah. SHAWN. Not. Yeah.
See, I would never date her because I would make me feel so egotistical just calling her by my name. Be like, hey, Sean, you're so wonderful. You're so hot.
Yeah,
man, I love you,
yourself
Sean.
to like 50 other cocks. It's like, ugh.
One of the Trump babes I interviewed is named Samantha. So.
Oh, I know.
Whoa. Wait, does her last name begin with an M?
No.
Oh, okay.
Why? No. Why? Were we about to have like an awkward moment of you and I knew the same Trump babe, or what?
Yeah, that something along those lines may have happened.
No,
Alex can relate to this one.
Yeah, this is an interesting character. A lot of interest. Like, we need to make that book once you graduate, man.
Book, it's gonna be a fucking show.
We need to make the book first, and it'll be based on a true story.
No. We're not writing a shit. We're not writing a fucking book. We're going directly to Netflix with the script, be like, hey,
Yeah, they will take that shit.
yeah, we won't give away our idea entirely because somebody else. Well, we have the source materials. I guess they can't. But
Dude, just give your script idea to my buddy E Scorpio, and he'll do like a documentary or something on it.
oh, is he the guy that did the Owen documentaries?
Yeah, who did the second Owen documentary?
I was gonna say find the person who did the Tiger King documentaries and be like, hey buddy, we have another job for you. Make this into
Speaking of Netflix, did anybody see Waco?
No,
No.
not. It's on my list, but I've been trudging my way through Narcos Mexico. So
Yeah, I mean
Well,
it's good. It's good, but like Waco. I mean, but like Taylor Klitsch or Kitsch or Klitsch, whatever the fuck his last name is.
Kitsch.
He plays David Koresh in the series, and he was like, he played himself, like the character was like he played himself in the character, like, you know what I'm saying, like like anybody who saw, like, you could look up on YouTube videos or whatever of David Koresh and see like his mannerisms or whatever, and you see David Kitsch, and it's like, well, he just
Taylor
played
Kitsch.
Taylor Kitsch
Mm.
in the, like, his mannerisms in the movie. It's like Al Pacino playing in The Irishman, like he was playing Jimmy Hoffa, but it was fucking Al Pacino. Like it was like, it's like, no, you're not Jimmy Hoffa. You're fucking Al Pacino. Like he hasn't changed any of his acting mannerisms since Scent of a Woman, like back in the fucking 80s or 90s or whatever. Like, you haven't changed since then. Like, and it's just like, it's the same shit. Like, how the fuck do you still get acting gigs?
Two things. Number one, the Waco miniseries had a uncredited production company, and I know why it's uncredited, because it was the Weinstein Company. Secondly, what I never understood about the series is, why is everybody talking about it now? It was made in 2018.
Was it on Netflix in 2018?
Well, yeah. What happened with that?
It didn't pop up on my Netflix until like last week.
Well, no. Here's what happened. It's new to Netflix, but like, I guess Paramount Studios.
Oh, they stalled it.
Well, Paramount Studios, I guess, released like their own streaming service, kind of like, you know, because I guess like for some reason they thought that like they could, you know, do like their own streaming thing, but then no one signed up, so they were like, oh well, our thing failed, so we've got to offload all this content to somewhere. So Netflix picked up their stuff. So
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, it's just like, you know, I like, people are like, I mean, I've known about Waco for quite a while. That's why I'm shocked. Like, you know, I mean, I learned about it a few years ago. I think you mentioned it, Alex, because we're talking about Alex Jones. He's the one that really covers that probably better than most people. Like, if anything, I know the, you know, mainstream media and Netflix wouldn't want anybody to do this, but you really gotta watch Alex Jones's documentary and read and listen to the stuff he's said and done about. I mean, say what you will about him, but he was like confronting the fucking like FBI, doing all kinds of shit where he was like getting more deep into it than anybody else.
Well, the thing is there are now internet cults online. I mean, you know,
That's type of cults.
Well, from my understanding, what happened with Waco was like, there's this religious cult in this barn thing, or this like compound, and I forget what happened that got the ATF involved, and they didn't comply, and they eventually pulled in some tanks and other shit, and it's disputed as who fired the first shot, but the FBI basically like massacred this entire cult.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Like I think they were building weapons or something, and the ATF was like, boys, these people are making automatic weapons. Let's go and blow them up." And that's kind of what happened.
So then you get like, it's funny with this thing is you get like different fractions of the political spectrum kind of coming together in a way on this, but also coming at different perspectives. Like you have the hardcore libertarians like, oh, the government, so evil. And then you have the conspiracy theorists or the people like myself, they're more sort of just what's it called, cynical. They're just like, that's some crazy shit. Like, holy shit, I can't believe that happened. Like, that should be investigated. There should be shit done about that.
Sean, you posted a meme to Facebook the other day that I meant to text you, but I had me in stitches of the Tiger King meme, and
oh yeah, I stole that from Alex.
It was something like what libertarians think they look like, and it's like a picture of Ron Swanson, and it's what libertarians actually.
Yeah, it's probably one of the most accurate memes I've seen in a while.
That's why I posted. Cause I was like, I have some libertarian friends on Facebook. I'm like, I know they're gonna get triggered just a little bit by it, and they should, because this is accurate.
I actually posted that to one of the Yale groups I'm still in, and they were like, and it was hilarious because some of them were like, that's not true. We're not like that at all, Sam. And then others were like, yeah, we're exactly like that. So what? So fucking what? He's a hero. Free what?
Free Joe Exotic.
Yeah, free Joe.
He's an interesting character. Like, I don't know, I just hate seeing, like, I mean, it's kind of poetic justice that he's in a cage, but,
Well,
I don't know, he's just such an interesting guy. They should fucking let him out and let him do this fucking own shit.
Well, you start off liking the guy, kind of.
Yeah, you do.
Because you're kind of like, okay, well, he's like a gay, gun-toting, like,
he's totally the fucking libertarian, like, ideal.
Yeah, he's kind of...
He does guns and drugs, and, like, oh man, he's fucking libertarian to the core.
But then, like, you get into the whole thing with the animals, and also with him, like, marrying two straight dudes, and it's like...
Yeah.
And it's like...
See, I love that part, though, because it kind of flips that sexuality shit you see from the left on its head. He was able to seduce two straight dudes.
That's Chad.
But they were
like his charisma at fucking 10.
But they were also both meth addicts too. So
I know, it's fucking hilarious.
So but then it's also like you've got some other weird people like that guy is not the Florida chick, but the guy who he partners with, who,
Oh, Jeff Lowe. Dude, fuck, I hate that dude so much. He's like the one person other than Carol Baskin that I legitimately hate. He's so greasy, slimy, disgusting.
Oh, yeah, well, in the documentary, what's hilarious is, like, the documentary, it just ends with him, like, being a degenerate and being like, hey, can we hire, like a living babysitter?
Well, apparently he claims that was a joke, that was a troll, but I don't know.
Like marriage or something, like,
that's what all swingers say. So, I guess.
I hated how he would he would put the cats in his luggage, like his fucking luggage, and bring them to these hotel rooms to like bait chicks. I'm like, dude, you're such a Chad wannabe. I mean, he's so slimy. And then he has this, like, fucking hitman that's his right-hand man. Like, dude, that's just stupid, like, dangerous business practice. And he's totally, like, cool with it.
When you live in a world with people like fucking Joe Exotic and, like, the Pablo Escobar motherfucker out there, I can see why you'd want to have some protection.
I can see it, but like those two people get away with everything in the end. And I get the feds are saying that they're going to investigate him and all that, but like, Joe takes the fall, and to be honest with you, Joe is probably the least worst of all of them. And some are saying like there's this now Fox is going to be making some sort of, they're trying to jump on the bandwagon. They're going to be making some documentary, and they're like, well, we don't even know if Joe shot those tigers, is what one of the ads was saying. And I don't know if that's true, but I mean I
could see him doing it. Like he's just so bizarre. Like I don't know. And then like the thing with the crocodiles, I'm pretty sure he lit that himself. Like that's.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's like I just can't hate the dude. He's just so fucking.
He is hard to hate. No matter how many terrible things he does, he's still hard to hate. Like he even ran for libertarian president. Like
honestly, I think he's he's like the fucking Tiger Man. He's like fucking misunderstood by so many people, and now people are finally starting to go and see that.
They're seeing the light.
Because like I think he needs help. Like honestly, that's probably the most thing. I don't think prison's right for this dude. Like, I mean. I guess, he won't have to worry about dropping the soap because, maybe he'll like that. I don't know. But, I just feel like he's done a lot of bad shit. But he's also done a lot of good shit, too. Like, he would give the fucking Thanksgiving meals to, like, the homeless or whatever every year.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. Like, the dude has a heart. He just manages to fuck up quite a bit.
That's the thing is, like, he's genuinely a complicated person. Like, it is not, does the bad outweigh the good? Maybe, but he's genuinely not an awful person. Like, some people think he's now. Carol Baskin, oh my God. The minute I saw her, she pissed me off because I could tell she was this fake, weird, creepy cat lady. And I was just like, I just hated her the minute I saw her. Yeah, and we all know what she fucking did.
And let me just say this. People always talk about Florida man being like a thing, right? But Florida women, there's a Florida woman, archetype too, and
oh shit,
and Carol Baskin basically epitomizes it. So.
Well, she's been talking all this shit on them. It's like, they don't pay, they pay their people like barely minimum wage and blah blah blah. And she doesn't even pay her fucking workers anything. On top of the husband drama or ex-husband.
I look at Carol Baskin and I think of every like SJW feminist, like overly leftist chick. I'm like, ugh.
It's like fucking Tumblr in a fucking picture.
Well, the funny thing is like, I was watching the documentary, and then I realized that, like, at one point, like, back in, like, 2015 or whenever, I had actually gotten, like, I don't know how, but, like, like, if you're on Facebook, sometimes you get, like, page recommendations for, like, like, random pages, like, I remember I kept getting, like, I remember like I kept getting like page recommendations for a thing which was like weird because like it wasn't like I had typed in cats or anything like that, but I was like I used to get like suggestions to like her page, and I'm like glad I never did that. So
so you got Carol Baskin like in your recommend on Facebook?
Yeah, but this.
You should go to her place like once coronavirus is done, just to go and see if it's like the fucking memes.
Well, because they showed the documentary that she based like when Joe rented a helicopter and got footage of it, that it was totally mismanaged, and there was like they weren't taking care of the cages and shit like that. Like she's just as bad as Joe. Like she acts like she's this angel. Worse. Yeah, she murdered her husband, allegedly.
Honestly, she should be the one, like, getting the fucking chair. Like, Joe did nothing wrong in regards to Carol.
Oh, God. Well, here's the thing. About, they even said, like, the feds had a hard time pinning the attempt to murder or assassin, whatever it's fucking called, a murder for hire. That's it, murder for hire charge on Joe. So they had to bring up other shit. And I'm still confused. Like, did he actually, like, say to the hitman dude, go kill Carol Baskin? Because they show stuff on the screen, but they didn't show, like, screenshots. They didn't show emails. Like, I'm really confused as to what he really said or didn't say.
No, he basically said, like, go down to Florida, and I guess, like, somehow somehow the DA made, like, something up that it was, like, implied. See, that's the other thing, and, like, Gavin actually brought this up, not with Tiger King, but, like, he's talked at this before. I mean, if the legal system has a hard on for you,
I'll get you.
They'll make up. I mean, so what do you? I know we had some person in the Discord who was, like, spamming us for a while. I'm not going to mention this person's name, but I think you know who I'm referring to. Who was obsessed with Milo and Roger Stone. What do you think of the recent development in the whole Roger Stone thing?
Yeah, it's good you mentioned that. Free Roger Stone. Roger Stone did nothing wrong, as he's saying. I mean, that man, I'm glad his gag order was lifted, but, that man has been screwed over. Pardon Roger Stone. Please, Trump, do it. He's been Look, he lied to protect Trump. He was being loyal. He was doing a little small, and it wasn't even a lie, apparently. Like, it wasn't a lie. Like, he said he didn't have an email that he'd forgotten about, and he actually did have.
Yeah, what the funny thing is with fucking emails. They let Hillary Clinton delete emails and, like, try to hide evidence, but, it's Roger Stone who gets fucking federal time for that shit.
Yeah.
How's that fair? How's that justice?
Yeah, it's totally unjust, and he should be pardoned. I don't know when the right time would be to do that, but this happened, and I know. See, this is something I haven't really brought up on our show, but it's a realization I kind of made through this and other things, like Alex Jones too, is the left's new tactic that they're really, really loving now because it works so effectively. Is if they can't take you down by banning you, they're just not going to ban you. They're not just going to, make your life a little miserable that way. They're not just going to call you a Nazi or fascist or whatever. They're going to drag you through the courts. Because if they drag you through the courts, they can kill you financially. That's the one thing they couldn't touch with Alex Jones at first. They could take his Twitter, they could take his website, they could take so many things from, well, I didn't take away the website yet, but you know what I mean. Like, they could take all these, his YouTube, all these platforms from him. But the one thing that frustrated them, I think, was they couldn't take his money, because his money is what really keeps InfoWars as big and bold and alive as it is, and allows him to keep, moving even when he loses a platform. Like, if he loses YouTube, he makes band.video and can make his own video sites because he has money, and he sells his Supermail Vitality and all these other things to make money. So what did they do? They realized they could drag him through the courts with all kinds of legal fees and shit to suck him dry. And that's what they did. They dug up his Sandy Hook shit that was really old, and everybody kind of, thought, okay, Alex went too far in this one, but that's it. Nobody thought to actually sue him over it, and so they started collecting shit. These left-wing activists started collecting shit and decided that this was how do you kill Alex Jones is by dragging him through the courts, sucking him dry of legal fees, sucking all his money, and that's what they did. They learned it worked. They did it to Roger, and dragged him through the courts for nothing, and he's lost more than $3 million in legal fees. Most of his life savings, most of his money is just gone because of this. And when you kill somebody financially, like, there's no going back unless they can make up money somehow. But when you're banned on all these platforms, how do you do that?
Is he still dealing with that right now, or they ever finished that lawsuit?
Well, he tried to get a retrial, but they denied him.
So what'd they stick him with?
I forget the counts they stuck him with, but he would face, how many, was it 3 years in prison, I think, for what he did? It's something insane.
That's ridiculous. Like, just give him, like, if you're going to give him anything, give him a fucking fine.
Yeah.
Like, time for that shit, that's too far.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, 3 is better than what they were originally going to give him, which was 10 years. No, I'm not saying 3 is any better. Don't want someone to understand, but I mean, at least they got them to come down, and I think that was just because like even some of the prosecutors were like, really, we're gonna give them 10 years for this. So.
And now we're talking about Alex Jones, not.
No, this is Roger.
Oh, no. My question was, were they given like?
Alex Jones just had to pay fees to the families. I think he had to pay like $100,000 each family, or something like that, or $200,000, something like that.
Oh, I'm about to say like, holy shit! But yeah, now Roger Stone shouldn't get 3 years. He should get like fucking a fine, if anything, because like if Bill Clinton can get off scot-free.
And Brennan, Clapper, Comey, all these other people that have lied under oath.
Yeah. Oh, and Christine Blasey Ford. Don't forget about her. I don't see how she isn't getting sued.
Yeah, but Alice, again, and the thing is...
It's a double standard.
There's a total double standard, and what I am frustrated with conservatives on, other than protesting and not socially distancing and using masks, is... when we don't stand by these people, when we don't defend these people, when we don't help these people, that's why I give credit to Tucker, I give credit to Handy, I give credit to Milo, Tommy Robinson, and other people that have stuck up for Roger Stone. Alex Jones stuck up for him. But people like Roger Stone are bankrupt because of standing up for what they believe in, and doing nothing wrong in the system, killing them because they support Trump. People like Tommy Robinson have gone to prison because of what they believe in, and have almost been killed for what they were standing up for, what they believe in. These people, putting Alex Jones, sucked with legal fees because of what he believed in. These people are putting actual skin, blood, and money into the game when other people aren't, or other people are making the safe moves to keep the money flowing, to stay safe, stay on all these platforms. But these people are putting serious risk into it, and nobody on the right really defends them except a few good people. And that's what really bothers me. You don't see Roger getting big hour-long shows on Fox News. You don't see Ben Shapiro inviting him on. I think Huckabee invited him on, which is good, but you don't see all these other... I mean, people shit on Charlie Kirk, but guess who had him on his podcast was Charlie fucking Kirk. He had Stone on. And Trump even retweeted a tweet where Charlie Kirk said, retweet this if you want to pardon Roger Stone or something like that. So, let's give Charlie credit where credit's due for stuff like that. And, and Trump is listening. Same thing with Laura Loomer. Put some serious skin in the game. She's been banned from everything. And she's running for Congress now and had a big piece in the New York Post. And even Trump retweeted that, which was huge. Huge.
Where's she running in?
Guess what? Your favorite state.
New York or Maryland?
No. We were just talking about...
Oh, Florida.
Yep.
She'd probably do well in Florida.
Yeah. Well, funny thing is, she is running in the district where Mar-a-Lago resides. And what did Trump do? He changed his voting location or permanent residency to Mar-a-Lago. Theoretically, this would be the most epic thing ever. Trump could vote for Laura Loomer, which means there's a good chance he could endorse her too. That would be epic.
I mean, he could endorse someone wherever. I mean, one vote. I mean, it's important as it is to vote for someone like.
It gives him there's more of an incentive, a symbolism behind it. It'd be just so cool. But somebody like her, I strongly support getting into Congress, because if she was a representative, oh my God, it would just be a fireworks show every day. It'd be awesome. Like, as the article said, she'd be the right-wing AOC. It'd be fantastic. But she'd be the one person that would, if you really want big tech censorship to be fixed, I mean, and you're smart enough to know that it needs government intervention, the only person that will make that happen is Laura Loomer. I'm convinced now. She's the only one, because she's the only one that, if she wins, she'd be the only one in Congress that's actually felt the effects of it. Nobody else has done anything. She'd be the only one. If you really want to fix big tech
I think
censorship,
they censored some other conservatives who were in Congress. There was some dude who got censored. I forget what he did.
I think there's some shadow banning, but there's no full-on banning. She'd be the only one that'd be in Congress that's been banned from major platforms, if that's better. But, she would just be fantastic. She's the only one that has a chance of winning. She's raised so much money, record-breaking amounts of money, way more than her Democratic rival, who normally raises a shit ton. And she's raising more than AOC ran this time. She's got a solid shot, and she's got some big backings already, like Judge Janine.
How does the Mar-a-Lago, the voting district, does it usually vote straight Democrat or is it Republican?
It's a funny district where it has voted Republican before. It used to be hard red, I think, and then it started going back and forth, and it's been voting Democrat for a while now, but it hasn't had any serious Republican competition. And if you look at the demographics of the district, if you look at a bunch of other things, there is a chance you can swing it. There is a path to victory, and it's a hard path, but it's not out of the question.
Like what Trump Jr. was doing, I applaud the guy, but there's no way in hell he's going to win New York's, fucking city seat.
Maybe, maybe not. I mean, you mean mayor? He isn't doing that yet, but, again, Trump Jr., I think he retweeted a thing about Loomer too, or has paid some attention to it. If she gets some major endorsements from the Trumps and some recognition, she could really, because when Trump says, hey, vote for this person, people listen.
Except for that one guy, right?
Roy Moore?
Yeah.
Did he even endorse him? I forget what happened with that. But
at one point. But
Roy Moore is a whole, different situation where he had, fucking sexual allegations against him. So, Loomer, though, has a lot of promise, and I hope people are spreading good word about her because she can't. She's banned, so it's up to us. Again, to circle back to my main point, which is that conservatives need to defend their own, stand up for their own. Especially the ones that risk shit and lose shit because of it.
Yeah, I agree.
This is bizarre, gang. We were at 21 likes just a few minutes ago, and now we're down to 16.
Yeah, it's because I said Laura Loomer. And YouTube was like, nope.
0 dislikes, but only 17 likes. So
maybe you're getting the shadow banned, or we have the bot activity.
No, we're getting Carol Baskin's minions.
Oh God! Oh, you cats and kitties.
Oh God! Every time she said that, I fucking cringed. Yes, Red Corona, Alex Jones. He's my spirit animal.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm like Alex Jones used to be my spirit animal. I'm feeling fucking Joe Exotic now. Oh, man.
Dennis Miller is my spirit animal. Talking about 80s references. So,
I mean, see, Alex Jones is he's one of those people. The more you listen to him, the more you're like, shit, what is he really wrong about? I mean, he was right about that. This isn't that crazy. I mean, it's he's one of those people that grows on you. He really does. Same with Jacob Wall. Speaking of OnlyFans accounts, Jacob Wall got an OnlyFans account to troll him. It's pretty funny.
I actually was thinking about getting an OnlyFans account before I knew what it was because I'm like, great, this I'm like, this is I'm like, this is a place where I could sell exclusive podcast and then I'm like, and then I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, it's
change it to the Whitfield report.
You might be able to sell exclusive videos, but podcasts, and maybe photos. But speaking of, have you gotten a TikTok yet?
It's funny you mentioned that, Sean, because I actually
Oh boy.
I actually have gotten a TikTok. So,
Oh shit! You download the Chinese spyware and got a TikTok.
Sean, you already have Zoom on your computer. You have no room to talk.
It's not as bad as TikTok.
It's worse than TikTok because you expect TikTok is meant to be sharing content.
I don't have Zoom on my phone. Oh wait, no, shit, I do. Fuck, never mind. Okay, Zoom was a necessity. TikTok is a choice.
Yeah.
The thing is, I saw a bunch of people like Nick Fuentes, a lot of Groypers, a lot of right-wing people, even Sargon, like going on TikTok. And look, I get why they're doing it because they're not banned there yet, but you're not safe on there, guys. I personally think it's a waste of time going on there because they've already banned Tommy Robinson, who's only on there for like a few fucking seconds, and Nick Fuentes was on there, got banned quickly, created another account, got banned, created another one, got banned. Like, guys, it's no different. It's worse than big tech, I'd argue. I know Alex disagrees with me on that, but you're going to get banned. Don't waste your time and effort on it. Build more permanent solutions.
do you live, everybody?
Well, yeah, if you're live streaming, but if you don't, if you do long form video, I don't really know what. Well, I mean, TikTok's not the best for long form either.
I've done short dumb comedy skits on TikTok. I don't know.
I think, look, here's the thing. I know I'm missing out. Like, I know there's a lot of fun, interesting content on there, and I do envy people that are on it to some degree, but I can still see it on the web version. Like, you go on their website, they now have it's kind of buggy, but they have a web version where, if people share a TikTok, you can see it on the web. You can go to creators pages, all that jazz. But, I do wish I could be in it more, but I just can't trust it. It's fucking Chinese spyware. I just can't trust it.
So you Zoom, man.
Yeah, but I need it for school.
Yeah,
you could run VM.
Yeah, well, I'm in the same boat with Zoom, and the thing of it is I've had Zoom on here for a long time because I don't use it for podcasts, but whenever I guest appear on other people's podcasts, they always want to use Zoom. So I've
really?
So I've had it for a while, but
why do your guests want to use Zoom?
Well, because the audio quality is a lot better than I don't know how to explain this, but it captures both video and audio, but the video format is a lot crisper than Skype, I guess, for podcast recording. I don't know.
I'm glad that Discord's finally rolling out video and servers. I don't know if your server has that now, but ours just got a week ago where you can not only live stream a game or something or screen share or do voice chat, you can also do video too in a server. So I fully recommend Discord to people. That to me is by far the best, especially the audio quality is far superior, and the video too.
Isn't that if you boost it?
No, we didn't. I don't think we boosted it.
Okay.
Unless we had someone donate to us, which we didn't know about.
No, yeah, we would have seen that. I mean, we're on the poor people's free plan, and it's great. I mean, it's always sounded way cleaner and better, just overall.
Yeah, I have to use Skype because of the streaming software I use, which I mean, Skype's not bad, but yeah, I mean, I've used Zoom in the past, and then once I read the article, I'm like fuck. So
yeah.
But I mean, I've already admitted on the podcast all the bad shit that I've done. So
Yeah. Well, I would recommend on your streaming software. Again, I don't know what it is or how it works. See if you can use the Discord video with it, because that's your best option for the best video quality and audio quality.
Well, Sean, you're a Mac guy too, right?
Yes. And that's complicated. But the audio you can get to work on Discord. When we do our streams, you can get the audio to stream the audio out.
using Soundflower or
What I did was I created a sound. Yeah, I used Soundflower, and I created a in the MIDI setup thing on the Mac. I created a thing where I combined the Soundflower with my built-in audio out, so I could still hear it while it's when I set it to my sound device, my audio out. So I was able to solve that issue, and in OBS, I set it to go to that. And when I'm streaming, I don't even have to change that in the settings. I'm with with Discord. If you set the audio out in Discord to the thing where the two are together, the Soundflower, and your audio out. I could explain this better if you need to, but let's just call it Soundflower for now. If you set the audio out to Soundflower in Discord, you don't need to do it in the system setting, and it always works, and there's no problem.
Yeah, I have like the paid version of Soundflower, which is like Line Out or something like that. But yeah. Anyway, there are still 8 people watching, and I assume they don't want to hear us talking like nerdy
Yeah.
podcast stuff. But yeah. Um. So.
Well, we've been on for like what, 2 hours now? How long we been going?
Yeah, 2 hours and like 15 minutes.
Shit, we always have power hours.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see the thing.
Anything interesting from the chat?
Just the last thing, Red Corona. I mean, the chat's kind of dead, but there were a couple people asking me to take my shirt off on stream. Then we had.
Ooh.
You have to go and pay for your OnlyFans for that.
Yeah,
you guys need to do some fucking super chats if you want that.
You're gonna have to go to streamlabs.com/Whitfield Field Report.
Oh shit! Yeah, you have one of those set up. How's that working out for you?
Not as. I mean, my audience is a bunch of cheap motherfuckers. So. Not do. I'm kidding. I love you guys who do still watch, but no, it works. But yeah, it's interesting. Basically, like you basically connect it to your YouTube channel, and then people can, decide to pay. Usually through like PayPal or something. So.
Mm-hmm.
And then.
What's this called again?
Streamlabs.com.
Oh yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
And apparently, like Streamlabs has like a version of OBS that's like a lot more easier to use than.
Yeah, but it's only available on Windows.
I know.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Don't think I'm gonna fucking haul out my Windows PC for that, Alex.
I'm telling you, man, that Windows PC, you get that thing set up, it'll probably run better than a crap book.
Hey, I've got my 2019 16-inch MacBook Pro running right here, and it's a great machine. So.
Hear that, Alex? Great machine.
Yeah, how many does that thing have?
How many gigabytes?
Cores.
It has like.
Should have 4.
It has 4 cores, and then I have 2 terabyte. I have 2 terabytes on this thing.
Of SSD.
Yeah.
And
then. Oh, this is what I wanted to ask you. Have you guys gotten your Trump bucks yet?
Yeah.
I don't think actually my family has yet, but I know a lot of other people that have.
You won't get me though.
I haven't gotten my Trump bucks yet, but I do have my Trump bucks, and technically I already have what I'm going to buy, because I bought it. I actually bought it from my mom through her discount, but I just got a new iPad Pro as well.
Oh, nice. Those are sexy.
because with what I'm doing for school, which is kind of like technical writing and a little bit of graphic design, I figure, what the heck. So, um,
I've never really like. I don't know if it's a me thing, but I would see people like physically like writing notes on their iPads in class. Like I could just never see myself doing that.
yeah,
To me, it's so much better to type it.
I don't even type most of the time. Most listeners know this, but I dictate everything, like
Mm.
papers and whatnot. Now that's because of my crippled hands, in addition to my,
Yeah.
you know, but yeah, I mean, so that's what I'm spending my Trump bucks on. So,
Well, the
um,
thing too is like, the funny thing is, fuck, what was I gonna say? Shema's my train of thought. Oh yeah, I just don't write things down anymore. I can't remember. Literally, I'm trying to think of the past few months. The last time I ever picked up a pencil and paper and like wrote something down. Like unless it's some sort of document I need to sign or something, I write all my reminders on my phone that syncs to my Mac. I write all my notes on my Mac, and I just do everything digitally because I just don't like carrying around paper or extra things. I like everything simplified. I mean, I put all my credit cards on my phone, shit like that.
I don't. Well, I have my credit cards on my phone for Apple Pay and the
Yeah,
iTunes
yeah, that's what I do.
in the
Yeah.
iTunes store, but like I still I know that like some people like are like, oh, I can ditch my wallet now, and it's like, nah.
No, no,
Like,
because not everywhere accepts Apple Pay. That's the problem.
no, well, yeah, well, and like, and like even still, then you you need like your personal ID, which like that's something that like, although I love tech, I will never I'll probably never put my government ID on my phone or something. So
It'll probably happen one day. They'll probably force you to do it.
I'll tell you what. The one thing that does creep me out about this whole COVID thing is like, and again, this might be somewhat of a conspiracy, but the fact that they want to fucking shit people, who are like,
Well, I've heard they were gonna just go and track your cell phone like usage if you're near someone who has COVID.
Well, that's
Like
what
they,
Bill Gates and Google want to do in Apple.
or they're doing that, I think, in Australia, where if you opt to use that like cell phone app, you'll be able to get out of quarantine earlier.
I'll 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 stay in my house for the next fucking 2 years. I'm not going to let the government track my fucking phone anymore.
See, I'm honest with you. Like, as long as it's voluntary, I don't really have a care if people do. Like, that's kind of like their loss, not my loss. But if it's mandatory, then like, yeah, fuck that. That's overboard. But if it's a voluntary thing, hey, if you want to do that, cool.
Yeah, but then that's kind of like I'm just playing devil's advocate here too. Like at first, it may start out like voluntary.
Mm.
It's like cars are voluntary, man. You don't have to go and train your horse and buggy for a car. And now, the only people use a fucking horse and buggy are Amish people.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
but the car has benefits, but yeah.
Well, it's like the same thing with like Facebook and Twitter. Like, yeah, you don't have to be on those social media platforms, but
Yeah.
like if you want to like start a podcast or like really even like your standard business, like you kind of have to now. So like, you know, um, yeah. So.
I'm trying to. It's funny. I'm in the Penn State Minecraft server, and there's there's this section at Penn State called the Allen Street Gates, and people always protest there. Like it's notorious for that. So people actually put protest signs here. Like some say, like we like our guns, we hate our guns. Trump 2020, no more frozen yogurt. Society bad. Sign up to vote. Bernie 2020, we live in a society. COVID-19 is a government scam. Animals are meant for eating. I'm gonna add one that says, Krusty Krab unfair. Mr. Krabs is in there. Somebody actually did that at one of the protests. Wasn't that the frat one, Alex?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, when they were doing the frat stuff because of the kid falling down the staircase.
Wow, we still have people watching. I'm actually amazed that some people are watching, and
We have info warriors everywhere.
I mean we're almost at like 2 hours and 40 minutes almost. So what
Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to shut her down soon.
what now, Joe Rogan? What now? I'm getting close to your number of I'm I'm getting close to your an amount of hours for a podcast. So
Yeah, speaking of that, actually, I just remembered something. When he had I forget who it was on. They were talking about Howard Stern, and they mentioned how he did this like there's this leaked meeting of his where he was in this sort of auditorium and he gave this super corporate spiel to all his employees, and he was talking about how we make people they come on our show and then they go to #1 on the charts, and he was talking like really corporate shit that he would always mock supposedly, and I was like, damn, that just kind of ruined Howard for me.
I didn't really like his Hillary Clinton interview. Like that was bullshit.
were
Mm-hmm.
were you a Stern fan, Sean?
I was just sort of becoming one. Like I never really followed him much before, and I started hearing about some of the stuff he's done, and I started watching some of his interviews, and I was like genuinely impressed. And I heard this, and I was like, I kind of killed it for me. 'Cause like when people would say he's a sellout now, I didn't really know what they meant until I saw that. I'm like, yeah, he kind of did sell out.
Well, yeah. I mean, he used to be the king of radio, basically.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
now he's kind of. I will tell you this. I've kind of gone back and forth on Howard Stern. I used to. One of the things that Howard Stern used to do, which I always used to hate, was he would always have like these great guests on, like just like I'll throw a name out. Like he used to have Eddie Van Halen on a lot, who great guitarist and whatnot, and he would like ask him like these really pointed questions, and then the guest would like start to answer, and then Howard Stern would like jump in, and he always used to jump in when his guests were talking because I don't know, he felt like maybe it was his show, but like that shit always annoys me, like.
Yeah, the interrupting, yeah.
Like, I always, like, even with you guys, I always like to let the guests talk, more or less,
Yeah.
just like free range, and that's something I learned actually, not from anyone in particular, but like that was something that I heard Howard do, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to do that if I ever host a show, you know. But
Yeah, and I genuinely appreciate that, and that's what we try to do on our show is like let everybody talk and have just a natural conversation without people butting in.
And I mean, I guess that he's gotten better about that over the years, but then, like, I don't know. The thing with podcasting, too, though, is, like, it's kind of made satellite radio, like, kind of irrelevant now. So,
Yeah, and that's the problem is, like, he's so out of touch with the podcasting thing, and he kind of views it as, like, this low art form, and it's kind of like what movies used to look at TV as, or Hollywood used to look down on TV, and Howard looks down on podcasts.
Well,
it's like
he used to mock Adam Carolla and Joe Rogan and being like, "Oh, this podcasting format isn't gonna last. You guys will be on Sirius in 3 years." Now that was like back in like 2008, 2009.
Oh, Jesus.
And which was actually like funny enough. That's actually like back when I started podcasting, and so like back then, no one knew. Like we were still in the era of podcasting when people would use like actual iPods to to like you know, and to like actually listen to podcasts and music and whatnot. But like now, like now, you know, obviously podcasting I think is here to stay. You know.
Oh, absolutely. It's a totally, over, overtaking of radio and all those other, forms of long form audio content. Like it's definitely a big deal. And I think, I guess in 2008, maybe people weren't really seeing it. Yeah, I guess I don't remember that time too well. So I kind of get that. But, ever since like around, I guess you could say maybe 2010, 12 is when I really started taking off. And I mean, Joe Rogan's done a lot of episodes. So, I don't know. I think Howard kind of has a real ego to him. That's what it feels like to me. Like he's came off as quite of a jerk in that video I saw. I'll have to send it to you. It's eye opening.
Oh, I've seen it. I've also, or maybe it wasn't that one, but I saw one where he was like, I saw one where he was like referring to Lady Gaga, and he's like taking credit. He's like we made Lady Gaga. She's at number one because of us and because of this show or something. Wait.
I think it was the same one because I don't know if it was specifically about Lady Gaga, but he was saying that constantly. He's like, we made this person. This person didn't have a hit record till us. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, there's some truth to it. Don't get me wrong, the publicity of going on that show, but there's so many people that were already a thing before him.
Well, Well, the publicity of going on the Howard Stern show way back in the day, and this is actually something I don't know if you saw my interview with Christian Blatt of the Dennis Miller show that I did.
I saw some of it, yeah.
I did last week, but one of the things that Christian and I talked about off air was actually Howard Stern kind of old time radio, and he said that back before even like before satellite, one of the appeals of going on Howard Stern or of going on like Opie and Anthony was like they were on terrestrial radio, but they were also like breaking the rules of terrestrial radio, literally. And so the appeal was that like it was a pirate ship, kind of, and like they were kind of the edgelords of their day, and
yeah, of course.
And now that it's like now that everyone can say fuck on the internet, and just like talk about whatever, it's like their gimmick isn't like Stern's edgy gimmick isn't really doing anymore. So he doesn't have like a thing anymore. So.
Yeah, and that's exactly He definitely was a groundbreaking thing in his time, but everybody else has kind of become him and in many ways exceeded him.
Oh yeah, totally. So, any other topics, or I think we are starting to lose some people in the chat here. I think we're down to 3 people now. So
apparently, sorry.
I really can't think of anything unless the chat has anything else you wanted to ask.
The last thing I was going to mention is just breaking a few minutes ago. Kim Jong-un's train spotted at coastal resort. Intel reports Scotch death rumors. Scotch death. What the fuck does that mean?
Whoever does on Scotch.
I don't think he's dead at all. I think it's fake news, to be honest.
Really, you think it's fake news?
I mean, there's certain things that just, given what we're living in right now, don't make sense. Like they're like, oh, he hasn't been at any public ceremonies or done shit like that. I'm like, well, nobody's been doing that right now. I don't think he's that stupid. Like he wouldn't be in large crowds. But I mean, is it possible he's dead? Yes. Or that he's in a vegetable state? yes, there's a possibility, but I think it's more likely that he is alive than anything else.
Apparently, from what I've heard, he went in for like some surgery or something and like died on the table. And
Yeah, I don't believe it. I
and
heard that.
and here I'm thinking like, well, if he died on the table, then the fucking surgeon died not not long not long
Yeah.
after.
Yes, Sister Wars, the execution of the surgeon.
I mean, I kind of hope that he's still alive, only because I mean, if we, I mean, it's bad enough that we're gonna have another, Kim in the dynasty, but then a woman, running too, like,
Now, Sam. You really want to get banned now? I mean, you're already demonetized. You're already shadow banned. This will get you banned. Susan Wojcicki's like, no.
So some of these feminists are so demented that they're probably actually like that they're probably actually like, we don't care that she's a dictator. It's time for a woman in power.
A woman will bring North Korea into a new progressive era.
She'll probably. I was actually in Christian's podcast chat today on the Bladcast. Shout out to the Bladcast crew, and someone in their chat, in their chat room was saying she'll probably be more ruthless than he was, and I'm like, oh shit, you're probably right about that. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, let's see, someone in the chat actually looked up the. Okay, Scotch. Scotch means puts an end to. Okay, that's interesting, Annabelle. Annabelle Rankin, by the way, is one of our chat mods. I don't know where she's from, but she's always coming in when the show's on like real light and she'll like stay on until the end, which I really appreciate. So, but yeah, I don't know about this whole Kim thing, guys. Like, I was excited that it was real because I'm kind of like, yay, another dead comedy. But now you have me doubting, Sean. Damn it.
Yeah, I mean, that news story. Yeah, and then I did click on it, and then it basically was saying, like, the intel that we have is basically saying that it's very unlikely he's dead. And then the reason I initially thought this, like, I mean, I was kind of 50-50 on it, and then I read something Scott Adams said because he had experience with TMZ and, insider reports, and he told me, or he didn't tell me, he told his followers on Twitter, like, yeah, that's when you know that it's fake news. Like, it's very unlikely.
Yeah, that's a real bummer. So, at any rate, gentlemen, I think it's been a good show. I really appreciate you guys for, coming on. So,
Yeah, thank you for having us on.
It's been great.
and Annabelle says, I'm a Brit. We use that term. Live in Mediterranean, so it's morning here. Well, awesome. So you must be like the fifth Brit that subscribes to the podcast, then, Annabelle. Well,
We got a bunch after the Sargon thing.
I'm sure. You're speaking of though, Sean. I think I told you this, but the last podcast that you and I did one-on-one, where you talked about CPAC,
Mm-hmm.
is banned by one of the UK ISPs.
Oh shit! What did I say? Because I talked during 90% of that.
I don't know, but apparently my friend Jimmy, who's Jimmy's the one who actually runs the Gavin McGinnis Discord, and he's from Manchester, England, and
Oh, nice.
he was I sent him the link to like the YouTube video, and he's like, and he messages me on Discord, and he's like, dude, I want to watch this interview that you had with this Sean guy, but every time I try to watch it, it says I need to log in with like a G Suite account, and which is like,
Oh, so Google account.
well, no, with a Google Business account basically, and which would,
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean now. Yeah.
and so I'm like, well, that's odd, and like I guess like a few other people from the UK like tried too, and they were like getting that response too. So apparently like Google wants you to pay if you're in the UK. Google wants you to sign up for one of their premium business accounts just to watch my little interview with you. And I don't even get any money or anything like that.
That's crazy.
That's fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was really weird. Could he at least play the anchor recording?
Yeah, he could. Yeah, he could, but it's just weird that it's banned on YouTube. But
Yeah, that is weird.
anyway, guys, like I said, thanks for coming on. Where can we find you?
At Versa News Media on Twitter. I know Phil's. I don't know if he's still on. Is at Dictator Phil. At Versa News Media on everything. Facebook, Twitter, Gab. Oh, actually, no. I think Gab is at Versa Media. I forget, but you'll find it. It'll be our logo. And on YouTube, of course, for all our videos and the current live stream we're doing of the Penn State campus on Minecraft is on Versa Media on YouTube. You can go to that. And you can find it on our Twitter handle if you go to Versa News Media. Or just type on YouTube Versa News or Versa Media, and it will come up with the big red eye of Horus. I should still probably upgrade that logo, but you can see all of our cool interviews with Milo, Mike Cernovich, Sargon Avocad, Hunter Avalone. We didn't even get into Hunter. That's an interesting story in and of itself that we can save for another time.
I've got time if you want to tell that one.
Well, did you see his recent? I'll do in a few minutes because I do need to get to bed. But did you see his recent videos on quote why I left the right, as he put it?
No, like I said, I don't get notifications for any of these people anymore, sadly.
Well, then it's good. Then we can definitely save for another time. Then you need to watch that video, and then watch the Quarterings video on Hunter Avalone. I don't know if you're familiar with him. I just learned about him through all this.
Yeah, I know.
Watch those two videos, and you will see the situation.
Alrighty, I will go ahead and do that. So,
Sweet.
well, gentlemen, I want to thank you for coming on once again, and thank you, dear viewers and listeners, for joining us for this 2.5-hour podcast. You guys are troopers for sticking with me on your Saturday night / Sunday morning, and I really appreciate the fact that you guys are sticking with me. Thanks for supporting the show. Thanks for watching. From all of us here at NGC Studios and on behalf of the Versa Media crew, God bless, God save this great nation, God free legacy in that order. And I will see you on the next episode of the Whitfield Report. Which, speaking of, on Monday, I will be having... I haven't even told you guys this yet. But
This sounds good.
But I will be having he's not technically your professor, but I will be having Jeff Hamill on the podcast on Monday at some point to catch up basically on coronavirus and all this, stuff. And also, we're probably not going to do it on Monday, but he does want to debate Dictator Phil.
I was gonna say I've heard that. I was gonna bring that up.
So yeah, he wants to face off against Dictator Phil. So
Well, if maybe Phil, I don't know if you'd want him on that stream, but tell Jeff, to reach out to us through our Twitter or something, and we can definitely set that up. I mean, we could definitely have him on our show. We haven't had a guest on in ages, and I know it'd be a fun time with him. I mean, I didn't get to talk to him much. I kind of want to, but I think he's familiar with me, obviously through the various things I've done.
yeah, he knows who you are. He
Oh
said
boy.
he said that he liked you and that you were one of the best kids in the class. So.
Oh really?
Mhm.
All I did was show up, and then a few times participated. Because I knew I was a token conservative in there, other than one other guy. But yeah, I mean, I even though I disagree on Sam for a lot of things, I did enjoy his class. And Jeff seems like a decent guy. I mean, again, it's one of those things where with college, you gotta live it as much as you can every day, because you don't know when it's gonna be gone. You don't know if there's gonna be a global pandemic that fucks everything up. So it's a good thing I took Sam's class when I did, because I was debating whether doing the fall or spring, and thankfully I picked the fall, or else it wouldn't have happened the same way.
Yep. At any rate, folks, we will sign off and we'll see you on the next episode. So I don't know when that will be yet, but stick around for a podcast on Monday and I'll see you back here then.
Yeah.
God bless, folks, and good night. Thanks
Take
for
it easy.
watching.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for tuning in.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.